All right, CITIUS Mag, live from Paris, presented by ASICS. We are just a day away from the start of athletics at the Paris Olympics. A lot of news happening this morning with Sharika Jackson pulling out of the 100, now solely on the 200. Doesn't really affect our preview episode for the sprints. I think we were pretty Sha'carri heavy on that one. But you could take her out, put Sasha Lee Forbes in there, and Jamaica's best medal hopes for the 100 is now Tia Clayton, I believe. In addition to that, we finally found out what Sifan Hassan is going to be doing.
Finally, and I think it's more than what you expected.
Yeah.
What did you think it was
Don't
going to
know.
be?
Come, you got on me a little bit.
She's
weren't
going
wrong,
to do
but-
the 5K, the
Yeah.
10K, and the marathon.
What did you think she was going to do?
Probably just 5K marathon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought she was going to quadruple.
Give
well,
yourself
yeah, I
the
tweeted
rest.
that
So
she was
she
going to
dropped the 50.
quadruple because
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
going to do well on the internet. It did well on the
Yeah,
internet.
I probably
did
saw
its
that. I
purpose.
saw that.
Yeah.
I go, that makes sense.
That's
That's a
doable.
That's a schedule.
That's
That makes
doable.
sense. If you're going to come to Paris, you might as well quadruple.
But I love it.
Everything.
It's just like, no, I'm actually better than pretty much anybody here, and I can do any event that I want to. And
Yeah.
I liked her quote. She's like, I'm doing the Tour de France out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was. I asked her. She had a virtual press conference, and I said, "Well, you've been very open about how terrified you've been before your marathons. They've all been flat marathons. So how are you feeling about this Paris course?" She goes, "I'm running the frickin' Tour de France," and I love that. She did say she's nervous and scared for it, but
It's good to go into those with fresh legs.
Yeah.
exactly.
Feel the
Also,
pop on the
by the
hill.
way, welcome Eric Jenkins. Yeah,
We're not gonna-
Eric Jenkins in the house.
Stoked to be here.
Flew in
honestly.
today.
Flew in, haven't slept in days. In a crazy mindset right now. Just really excited. Thanks for having me, guys.
Your first time in Paris.
My first time in Paris.
first impressions.
It's. I mean, look, it's
Beautiful.
amazing. We strolled the streets for a little bit. I haven't got the full taste yet, but I can work with this. I can work with it.
This isn't bad.
This is not bad.
All right. So this will be our distance preview episode. We had about an hour and a half show last night talking about the sprints.
Which is pretty impressive. I'm actually pretty amazed we went for 90 minutes on that.
Yeah, because we didn't have our sprint analysts, Jasmine, Todd, Caitlin Hutchison, or Anderson Emerald
Yeah.
here yet. Both Caitlin and Anderson have arrived. Anderson is out getting some interviews right now. He actually just spoke with Sharika Jackson. So we'll have that interview up on our YouTube channel soon. And then Caitlin is getting her bearings also in Paris right now. So the team is here. We're waiting on Karen to arrive. And then we'll be all systems go. But news happening, and we're getting ready to start. So we left off yesterday, sort of, if we're going up in distance now, with the 800s. We'll start with the women's 800, which the reigning Olympic champion, I think Mo, not here, fell at the U.S. Olympic trials. And so the favorite coming into this, if you look at who's the next best returner, is Olympic silver medalist Keely Hodgkinson, who's come away with silvers at the last 2 world championships and just ran, I believe, what was it, the 6th fastest time in history, fastest time in the world so far this year. The world champion Mary Mora also here, but hasn't run as fast so far. This is still going to be a marquee event, but I'm looking at this one heavily as Keely's race to lose.
Absolutely. She looked so good in London when she ran that world lead as well. Cool that she got to run at home. She pulled out last year, I think, because she got sick maybe the day of the meet. So the local British crowd were right around her, but she looks so in control, so smooth, so comfortable. I really feel like it's going to be incredibly difficult to beat her. And she said it. She's like, I want to go obviously one better than what I've gone every other time. Like that gold medal is sort of all I'm thinking about. So she should. So I reckon Keely, yeah, she is going to be hard to beat, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's shown up every time she stepped on track this year. And so, like, if she just continues that trend, she's going to be extremely difficult to beat. And it would be a little bit more fun just as a spectator to see Mary Mora a little bit, like, kind of in better form. But I don't think that you can really, like, discount Mora's tactic ability. Like, she's one of the best racers in the world. And I think really often we see her like blitz that first 200 and then slow the race down. And so I'm curious if she goes out there and tries to do that out here at the Olympics to try to control Keely's just overall fitness.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing I've noticed about just the way that Keely's been racing is that each time out that she has been in the driver's seat at these technical meetings before the race as to like what is the pace going to be, and they'll say we're going to come through 400 in this, and it's something that she probably had a say in or her coach, but each time out she's let the pacer go. Like in Eugene that was the case, and in London that's been the case, and it's weird, but
she's requesting the pace and then not going with the pace,
and then not going with it.
But the rabbits aren't running the right pace. She is.
I think she's being
rabbits are going
smart
too quick?
about. No, you don't
Yeah,
think
the
so.
rabbits go out way too fast. Women's 800 rabbits are the worst in the sport, and it's like
worse
it
than
happens every
But
single time.
regardless, I think the takeaway I've had from watching the races is that Keely's very measured and knows how to execute the races that still end up leading to a 154.
Yeah, I'm saying she
did that without.
Keely is
essentially
going
without the
through
rabbits on it.
400 what she's supposed to.
Yeah.
Evenly,
The
and then the
rabbits
rabbits
out.
go
Yeah.
out in like 25.
Yeah.
Who are these rabbits? Let's name them.
We can go back and look, but
Yeah.
I mean the problem is the meet directors get 400 meter runners to run.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
then so they just
it'd be hard
blitz
for them to.
Yeah.
they
You need an
blitz the
800.
first-
Yeah.
Yeah.
200, and then they're dying as
Yeah.
they get to 450, and then they step off the track, and it's like, oh, I did a good job. It's
Yeah.
like, no, actually, you didn't help
They're
at
not
all.
quite with you, are they?
They need Matt Shear.
But to your point, no, you're absolutely right. That she can control her own race, and she can make the race herself, and she isn't dependent on someone else pace setting.
The British fans, though, I think after the London Diamond League started to get a little bit excited and thinking, like, could the Brits sweep the medals in the 800? I don't think so.
Sweep
that would be
big.
Because it would be
insane.
Keely
No.
Hodgkinson,
Gemma.
Gemma
Gemma
Reekie,
Reekie.
who's having a great year.
Yeah.
In London, it was Georgia Bell,
Yeah.
but she's only running the 1500.
Yeah.
You have Phoebe Gill. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on a 17-year-old. That
She makes the final. That's a
Yeah,
victory.
I think that this sweep idea gets burst by the likes of a Mary Mora, or
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about Nia Akins.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
I
Eric.
do think they have a. I do see like two Great Britain athletes on the podium. Like Gemma is consistent, looks so good. I think she'll probably gain a lot of confidence and is just so familiar running behind Keely that it's certainly you can't. It's very easy to see her ending up in like. I mean, and she could, if Keely's off, athletes like her could win. Like
Absolutely.
like
Catch a
she
little
can't
heater.
like it's not just like like a thing's out, so now Keely's got it for sure. Like no, like Gemma is a fantastic athlete, run incredible all the time. Keely's now got a lot of pressure on her to win, so I expect I don't know necessarily like a sweep would just be so
crazy.
would be so crazy, but I think two on the podium for is I would bet on that.
Phoebe goes around 157 this
Mhm.
year.
Big
and
lifetime
she's
best, too.
17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think getting through the semis,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things like navigating. Oh my gosh,
Like
that
yeah,
bee is.
just get stung in the eye by a bee right
Nah,
off
that
the
thing
bat.
one of these bit me the other day.
Bring it
It's-
on, dude.
it's
Like
not-
what
it's
what
not
else,
a
at
bee.
this point?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
For the
For the listeners,
for the
it was
listeners,
a bee just
there's-
hovering around.
Yeah.
we're si- for
Eric's
the
face.
listeners,
It was
Though.
unfazed,
Did
not
not flinch.
moving.
for the listeners, we are on a balcony
Scared of no bee.
that is overlooking a beautiful street here in Paris, and
sweet.
so the wildlife has free range inside of where we are.
Yeah.
But no, I think a PB out of Phoebe or getting through into the semis and even into
Yeah.
the
I
final.
mean, how
think
much
that's a
international? Like, does she
success.
have any international?
She would have
experience?
run
Like,
European juniors.
at this
maybe
level
European
though.
champs.
It's just so
Yeah.
to navigate the rounds and make it like to be fighting for a medal on this stage at her age. Like it's just so. I mean, of course,
It's hard, but I
when
can-
you're that talented, of course, and when you're
It's that fearless.
when you're a bit naive to.
There you
Yeah.
go.
It's like when the college athlete who's on fire just storms on it, and they've got kind of like there's nothing to lose in a way, but it's a tall order. It's a lot to ask of a young athlete, no matter how talented and fast you are, but certainly nothing's out of contention.
And to your point about Nia Akins, she's looked very good all year long, and she has the experience from last year. I think she's been healthy all the way through, and like I think we have a fantastic chance of getting a medal here as a fan of the USA.
Yeah, the thing with Nia is that she was 6th at last year's World Championships. Take a thing Mo out, moves you up to 5th, and then she's gotten better. Yeah, solid medal chance there. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Especially just like you only get better the longer you're in a system sometimes, and her working with Danny, we're seeing what he's done with Josh, and I feel like very similarly, she's on the same trajectory.
Yeah, Nia. Does it feel like Nia is in Josh's position a couple years ago?
Yeah,
like bursting through.
Yeah, and now they're kind of fine tuning that last little bit to get the most out of you when it comes to a world championship final or an Olympic final.
Definitely, and her race at USA should give you the utmost confidence in what she can do over the final stages of an 800. Not that you already didn't have it, but yeah, the sweep is kind of crazy for GB. I can't see that happening, but I guess it also now is the first time in a major that Keely goes in as favorite, because she's always had to compete with a Mary or a thing. So now she has that, like you said, Chris, weight of expectation. I think she'll handle it just fine, but there probably is a slight percentage of like, okay, now the eyes are on me. I'm not just chasing greatness now. I am the quote unquote greatness in this field. So everyone's chasing me. Obviously Mary as well. We haven't seen enough of her. So I feel like Keely will be that one, but I completely see Nia jumping out of the ground and potentially snagging a medal.
I just had to look it up because you're like, oh, is Nia in Josh's shoes? What did Josh finish at the 2019 World Championships?
Sixth.
What did he finish at
I'm
the?
like,
What did he finish at the Olympics 2 years later? Third, and then he ended up winning 2 years after that.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty solid trajectory for Nia.
That would be a very solid trajectory.
Yeah,
I would love that.
take that
So
credit.
she's third. That's great.
Yeah, all right.
Lock it in.
Lock it in, guys.
This is not gambling advice.
And then we get to LA and she might
Can we?
win.
Is there? Can we gamble on this?
Yeah, there's odds out there.
Let's make a bunch of money. How do you guys feel about getting rich as hell this trip?
I'm big on it.
All right,
huge
let's
on
shift
it.
over to the men's 800.
Big
This
good
is an
odds.
event that has gotten absolutely wacky this year. At the very beginning of the year, I said the 800 has gotten pretty boring because there hasn't been like one guy who's been totally dominant, and like in the last couple of years since the retirement of David Rudisha, the man has not admitted that he's retired yet.
He's not.
But
There's still a chance.
there's still a chance.
It's such a wild move to not retire, dude. It's so sick. So sick. Like, nah, I'm not.
David,
I'm not retired.
let us tell you, it's pretty fun on this side.
Yeah.
I'm not retired.
Come
He's
on
like-
over, buddy.
He's like, honestly, no, it's hell.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't keep living like this. I gotta be a champ again.
I have to run again.
I have to run. I can't live this life.
So there hasn't been like the dominant figure until this year. Even last year, like Marco Arop wins the World Championship, doesn't win the Diamond League final. It's a event where the top guys traded hands like time and time after each race. Jamel Sajadi right now from Algeria is the guy to beat, the third fastest man in history after running back-to-back 141s.
He's got a 3 second
Crazy back-to-back 141.
3 second PB this year, right?
Yeah, he was really good last year. I mean, like I think got a bronze at the 2022 World Championships. Didn't win last year, but he's just always been there. This time around, like no one has looked better in the final 150 meters of a race than him. Where everyone starts to die, he's still managed to have like that little bit of acceleration, and it's lifted the fields to faster times. We're seeing the most 142s and then 143s that we've seen ever.
What are his DraftKings odds?
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy
You'd be
that
paying nothing.
Yeah.
early this
You'd
year
lose
and
some
even
money
last
betting on
year, it was just that no one was running that quickly.
No.
And then all of a sudden, the last 5 weeks, it's
Yep.
like, oh, okay, I guess everyone's gonna run 141, 142.
Well,
Literally
who's
since
so
US
it's
trials.
so Sajadi.
Can you
when
Tual.
Tual,
Gabriel
Wanyoni.
Tual of France, Emmanuel Wanyoni from Kenya. Wanyoni was the first guy to throw down a 141
That
this
was
yeer.
at their Kenyan trials. As
And
well.
then and at altitude.
Yeah.
And then he got beat by Sajadi in Paris. And then Sajati beat everyone again in Monaco. And then you throw like Marco Arop. He's run 142, but it's been like 6th place in a race.
Yeah, and he's gotten buried over the last 100 meters.
Yeah.
It's been so weird for both, Eric and Mac as observers of this race. What is different about the way that people are running the 800 this year? We sat down with, Coach Andy Powell, who happened to be neighbors with us. And he was like, no, it's just like guys are just attacking it from the gun.
I don't know if it's anything necessarily different. It's just like sometimes you need a couple other people in your event group to start running fast for you to be like, oh, I actually have to do that, or oh, I can do that too. I think you're seeing that in the women's 15 right now. And we just had kind of a lull in the men's 8 where everyone was running 144, 143, 2 or something like that globally. And it's just like, that's just what it was. But now that a couple 141s have dropped, it's like, okay, that's actually what I have to do in order to win. And everyone that makes it to the final has a big enough ego to think like, oh no, I'm going to win. I have to run that. I am going to run that. Yeah. And that's sort of just like that extra little push over the ledge to commit to getting through 600, at a 141 split, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny because the 800, like, in my opinion, it was for a while there, it was like the weaker event. Like, it was kind of like when, like, you haven't seen Donovan in it. And then it was like, okay, like it's kind of up for grabs. Like it's not that like it's not
a lot of turnover.
It's just so much turnover. It's like it's like you're not having dominant figures in the 800 like a Rudisha last in the event
over a whole cycle,
over a long period of time. But now all of a sudden it's like it really was like when Yoni put down that 141 and then it's like, okay, it's on. It's like, okay, here's the bar. And Sajati has, not just like closed the gap. He's now the guy to beat. But they're just going for it. Like Marco Arop is running 142, getting buried. Like Max said, it's like how if you're a guy like Bryce Hoppel, what do you like? You had a fantastic Olympic trials.
We were so high on his medal chances,
and you ran
the
142. Like now, are you thinking like, maybe I can run? I honestly like your best bet is okay. Like, what if you can run 142 low and pick off somebody that, let's say, like there are guys that try and go with Sajati when they just can't run 141 in an Olympic final and they fade. And then maybe Hoppel can close the gap. It's just it's interesting to see the event where it's at right now.
I like Bryce Hoppel's chances over the 3 rounds, and I like Wignoni's odds as well, instead of just the one-off race.
Because all these really fast races have just been one-off races.
Yeah, and so I don't know. For some reason, Bryce just because he's so good over the rounds, but and Wignoni. I like them over the 3 days 3 separate days, but it's going to be super interesting. I'm curious because over the last 2 years, people have defaulted for Marco Arop to take the lead out and run that first 400 and pull him through 600. And it's just like, does he have the juice to finish the last 2 or not? And I don't think he's fast enough right now to do that. And it's like, I don't know what his best odds are. Does he just run that same race and hope he doesn't get buried over the last 100? Yeah. Does he change up his style? I think everyone was so reliant on him running that race and leading like people used to do with Rudisha. It was like, he's going to the front. We're going to sit in the row. He's going to pull us to a fast time. And then we're going to see if we can kick by him or not.
I mean, it's because Sajati's been having the fastest close in the fastest race. It's like, it's how do you necessarily plan for that? Like if you're a Marco, like, okay, like it's going to be like, I'm not going to be able to run the legs out of Sajati unless, he over the course of the rounds, he looks beatable.
It's going to be one of those things where this is where it's so hard because I think some of those guys would like to see him lead and see what he does. And so like if they could force him to lead, but just how scary that is.
You're playing a game of
You're
chance.
playing
there.
a game where you're like, I want to see what he can do, so I know what he'll do in the final. But you're putting yourself at risk for not running maybe your best race.
Yeah.
But like, if like Marco Arop has a chance of medaling or winning, it might not be by leading.
Yeah.
And he needs to know what Sajadi is going to do if he's forced to lead.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
It'll
thing.
be interesting because, like you've said, he does, has the best close of everyone. If you're spotting in room to see what it's like at the front, and you're like, all right, let's see what he's got, and then he puts on that 150 final kick, you're like, man, should I maybe have been in front of him to see if he could chase me down? But I think that's not the worst tactic if you know you're going to get through, and you're like, all right, let's see what he actually moves like at the front of a race, because it's very different. Yeah. It's so different to be at the front of a race compared to trailing the pace and knowing you have a good kick. That's probably why I'm still ambitious on Bryce Hoppel's chances to maybe sneak into the medals, because it looked like at the trials to me his 143 was easy work. And he is a guy that can crank the pace, turn the pace, and match the pace when he's rivaled. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have a better final 150 than Sajadi, but he is a guy who could benefit off being dragged through that last 150 and hold. He'll smash his lifetime best. Like there's going to be so many national records. I feel like whoever gets late into these rounds of the 800s, it's going to be entertaining.
Not that we get caught up in the competition for sure, and like we like to try our best to avoid world record talk. But obviously, the 2012 Olympic final was where the world record was set. Do we think that David Rudisha's 140.91 world record is still standing by the end of these games?
Yeah, I think so. That world record is like arguably the best in track and field. 140.9 is crazy. It would have to be a somehow perfect race. Like the perfect person you can get through the opening 400 is the one that leads, and Sajadi or one of those top three guys is the one that's able to kick through. Only one guy's going to get near it. So whoever wins would be the only guy to get near it. But I think they run 141.3.
It's going to be
I
whoever.
don't think they get there.
If someone's going to break it, it's going to be whoever is leading at 400 meters, and I don't think
Sajadi
anyone in the field is going to do that.
Yeah. It's just like 140.9 is a different beast. Like we're talking about 141. Like how crazy is it that these guys have run that? And it's like, go get another second. Like go get another 0.7 of a second. I think that record's going to stand for a long time. A long time.
Let's go over to the women's 1500, which again, because of the greatness of Faith Kipyegon, a lot of people probably were like, all right, in the last couple of world championship years, the medals have been decided within the first, 2 laps, where there's just a breakaway from 3 or 4 women, and you can clearly see, okay, these are going to be your medalists, and Faith always has that final gear. I think that the Paris Diamond League made things a little bit interesting because for the first time in a while, we saw Faith Kipyegon actually be challenged by someone else, and that was Australia's Jess Hull, where she ends up running 350. Kipyegon breaks her own world record, but there's company at the top now, I feel like, for Faith Kipyegon, and it erased any questions people had about her fitness. I think how well she ran at the Kenyan trials, both, doing the 15 and the 5K there at altitude and crushing both, that kind of subsided things. And it was like, oh, but that was in Kenya. Paris was just sort of like, no, Faith is still great. It's just like, there's now other challengers. I look at Jess Hull as a medal contender. I look at Gudaf Sagai, who will be doing the 1500 as a medal contender here as well. And then you have to wonder how the other Ethiopians, Berke Halam, Dariba Witelji, but the American contingent of Nikki Hiltz, Emily Mackay, Ellie St. Pierre, what are they going to do after a really fast U.S. Olympic trials? So it's not Faith Kipyegon's runaway race. Maybe she still ends up winning, but I don't think it'll be by as much as she has in the past. I mean, Mitch, you're riding high on like the medal chances here potentially for Jess Hull.
Absolutely.
Do you think she could win gold?
I do. I think if there's a definite race plan that could pan out where she wins gold, absolutely. I mean, I think what Jess did was show that you don't need to be afraid to run with Faith. I feel like there's always been this kind of disconnect of like, oh, we can't possibly run that fast, so we're going to let Faith go, or it's Faith and we'll all settle off the pack. No one ever goes with the pacer. Faith goes with the pacer, and then the race is fractured. Whereas And it was cool talking to Jess because she was like, yeah, no, I just told myself like, I'm going to die wondering. I'm going to go and I'm going to die wondering. And then I'm not going to die wondering. Like I'm going to go. And if I blow up, I blow up. That's the perfect way to see it. And then like 300, Faith still checking her shoulder. And it's like, fuck, someone's still here. Like I got to crank these gears up. So I think what she did was show other athletes, including your Americans, that you don't have to be afraid to roll with it. You just got to know that it's going to hurt like a bitch in the last 150 if you do. I think there's a serious potential that Faith doesn't win. I hope it's Jess that takes the gold. But it could be a slew of other Ethiopians, if not an American that could potentially do it. I think everyone's going to get dragged through for a faster time now, and it opened the door for realizing that like Faith is gettable. But in saying that, it's going to be damn hard.
Yeah,
doable, but hard.
like at the end of the day, all these athletes are human.
Yeah,
Like they're huge favorites. They're unbelievably good and talented. But at the end of the day, if they have an off day, have a bad race, it's not a shoo-in for the win. I still do see it being Faith Kipyegon making it a really fast race.
Yeah.
Whether it's, a 3:49 race. I still see it being strung out, her pulling really hard, and athletes just hanging on. I think that bodes well for the other athletes. I think it bodes well for the Americans. I think it bodes well for Ellie and Nikki and everyone. And it's really cool to see Jess and these other athletes in position to say like, oh, of course Jess is now thinking medals. Like you run 350, you are absolutely in the medal talks. Whether or not they're going to be able to beat Faith though is just she's just so strong.
Yeah.
And so
the fun thing is, as a fan, it's just wondering, it's like, oh, if Faith isn't on, there's a chance she doesn't win.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't think that we've necessarily been able to say that previous years. All the time, some years yes, some years no. But as to your point about what Jess said, going into that Paris meet, like, even though that these are the world's best athletes, it is still terrifying to go out on the edge like that.
Yeah.
Like you're performing by yourself in front of
Millions.
front of tens of thousands of people physically, but millions of people that are watching, and it's so vulnerable. Like you're showing
yourself
everything that you have.
You might go backwards.
Yeah, no, it's and committing to being like, I might blow up and do something really embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's
and then
why
you're
like
showing-
distance athletes like don't talk shit usually.
Yeah,
Because
no,
it's like so it's like so humbling and to get absolutely
it is
like done up like
for people
that
that
if
for,
you've been
for
talking
people
shit.
that don't
I agree with that.
For people that don't, I had a coach one time say this to one of my teammates. Was like, the feeling is like asking someone out on a date for the first time.
Yeah.
The nerves of like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? What's the answer gonna be? Is it gonna be a yes or a no? And you don't know.
Yeah.
Those like,
Is it going to be worse than a no?
Yeah, well, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Than could be go home devastated and embarrassed.
Hell no.
And
no.
it's just like,
Fuck no, God,
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
and then you don't do it,
You
and then you're like,
serious?
okay, why would I ever do that again?
Yeah.
100%. No, and I completely agree. The vulnerability that it shows to like also show your hand before a major, and risk the chance of blowing up and everyone being like, oh, she's a write-off now. Like the dialogue can change so quickly because Jess could have either gone and the best case scenario happened where she ran 350, fifth fastest time ever. Everyone's like, oh my God, oh my God, she could medal now. She could win, rah, rah, rah. Vice versa. A blow up would have been like, what the fuck was she thinking? Why would she do that? She's not fit. Maybe this training camp hasn't been working.
Or
the psyche of that as well can have
or
such
she
a...
doesn't go with Faith, and she outkicks everybody else, runs 353, and everyone's like, oh my God, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I think
But it doesn't,
there's
but
so
leaves
many-
those 3 seconds
so
left
many
on.
different
Yeah.
scenarios.
And
You never know if
never
you
know.
could've- Yeah.
well, when you are operating
Yeah.
on the edge like that, when you see an athlete go out that fast, oftentimes like most people don't do what Jess did.
Yeah.
And they go, you know what? Like second would be huge.
Mm.
But it like that's a whole. It's like, you know what? Let her go and let me just worry about now. Now I'm gonna just start racing this next pack. I'm like, she's in the other race. Now we do this. Like, second would be huge. To if you race like Jess raced and you don't just give it to her and you hang in there, like when you hear the bell and she's there, like your entire mentality can change. And it's like, okay, I'm here right now. I've been here before. I've been exhausted at the bell and still able to close. She doesn't have it. Like, Jess didn't give her. There were no gaps until the very end. Like, she was right on her. And it only takes one race. If you keep putting yourself in that position, eventually, it might, like, who knows when it will be. It could be this Olympics. At some point, you're gonna get them.
Yeah.
Dreaming about it can only get you so far.
Yeah.
Right? Like putting yourself actually in that position in real life, in the moment.
Yeah.
That's where you could really gain that experience. And then that's when you know, like, okay, next time I'm here, this is what I'm going to do.
Real life example of that in that race, Laura Muir ran 3:53.
Yep.
Raced the second pack. So to your point, that's the exact thing. It's like maybe she walked away from that race thinking, damn,
Yeah, she was, and
maybe I should have.
And Laura
rolled
Muir's
with
going,
Jess
and
I could run.
she's
that
going,
fast.
I'm better than Jess.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
I could run that.
Like Jess running that is going to make everybody say, I'm going to stick on Jess.
Yeah.
Like, Jess can stick on Faith. I'm going to stick on Jess. And I'm like, maybe I die a little bit, but at least, like, I'm going for it. And I'm like, she's brave enough to do it. I can be brave enough.
Yeah,
to
she's
do it.
really opened up this field.
Yeah, Ellie St. Pierre is someone that has gone back and forth with Jess Hull all year.
Yeah.
Yes, great point. Yeah.
There's just
Great
sort of like,
head-to-head.
if you're Ellie, you're thinking, okay, I've been Jess, and if Jess ran 350, I can too.
Oh, yeah. And like, that's her style of a race where it's like, look, I'm going to latch on.
Yeah.
I'm going to run really strong. I'm just
And
going
we're
to
gonna
bite
duke
down
it
on the
out.
belt
Yeah.
and just be tough
Yeah.
and just see where it ends up.
I know Ellie had couple 5Ks in her legs and a couple rounds of 15s. But what was Coogan? Coogan told her not to go out in 2:03.
Yeah.
Which makes me think she can run that fast.
She can go that quick.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing
Yeah.
the reports of these workouts
So it's like,
sometimes, and I'm like, yeah.
oh yeah, these are private.
It's going to be a
thing,
hell
but-
of a race,
but
right?
Coogan telling Ellie, don't go out in 2:03, and then she
Yeah.
goes out in 2:04 something.
It's like pull back for me.
But
Yeah.
the fact that 2:03 was like something that was like kind of like automatically in the cards.
He's like, I can tell you want to go out in 2:03, but don't. And
Yeah.
she's like, I guess I'll go. I guess.
That has me thinking that, you know, she's definitely got some time left in her. But it is, you can't not acknowledge that that's a significant time difference between
I think that'll be the
350 and
coolest thing.
355.
Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
it's I'm 5 seconds in a 1500. It's
Wild.
Might as well be
it's a
100 meters.
lifetime. Yeah,
Wow.
no, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Is a guy running the 5K?
Yes. So the update with Gudaf Sagai is that she's entered in the 15, the 5K, the 10K, the Sifan Hassan triple from the Tokyo Olympics. And reportedly, she pulled out of the 10K, but her husband just made the decision last night. She's back in the 10K.
So she's running all three.
Okay.
How
I
does the
think so.
order go?
15's first.
15,
No, 5's first. 5K's first. for women
5K, 15, 10K.
So she's going to have 2 5Ks in her legs.
prior to the 15.
Okay, so that changes things.
Yeah. But then again, like if you're
But then
Ellie has so much
Ellie.
confidence from the fact she's beaten so many
Oh,
of
no,
these
she's
She
not
beat
running.
Gudaf Sagai. She beat Gudaf Sagai indoors. She's beaten Jess Hull multiple times. That I think if you're Ellie, like you don't get phased by watching all of these fast times. You just
Yeah.
put yourself in that conversation
Oh
mentally.
yeah, no, I don't think it phased
No.
by it. I think it just changes. I mean, if you're Faith Kipyegon, I still see it just being a really fast race, really hard. I would think that Sagai is probably one of those athletes that is just gonna be closer to the front. 2 really hard 5K, like in your legs. I mean, it doesn't bode well. For
That's not a U.S. Olympic trial 5K.
Yeah, no,
that's,
it's
this is a different
Fuck.
animal.
it's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. Yeah,
We're not
Um,
expecting a 350 race in the final.
I think we
am.
are.
I was,
I think
I was
why
literally about
not?
to say this is a race where the world record could go.
Wow.
The other thing,
After 2 rounds.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Think of the, but also to
what's your
Ellie,
problem?
to,
Why do you like this race?
to Ellie's defense, think of the field that she beat at Indoor Worlds in Glasgow.
Yeah, exactly right.
No one would have been like, Ellie's gonna win gold and like crush every. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she did. She won that race handily.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, Yeah, I really hope Jess wins gold, obviously, as an Australian and as a fan of Jess and like close with, I guess, her and like her husband and that training group. She just really deserves it. She was fourth at that World Indoors. Like, she's been in these major finals now. I think she unlocked a version of herself that she always knew existed but wasn't able to bring out.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the most exciting thing.
Yeah, I
And then
trained
to-
with Jess.
Yeah,
amazing
exactly
person,
right.
like
Like,
amazing
Go
athlete.
Ducks, baby.
person,
Yeah.
And like,
She's awesome.
and then I think the other thing for Jess was to then back it up in Monaco, be the show. They set the world record up for her, and to knock that down by herself. I think she had was it one of the American girls was pacing her? I can't remember which one it was.
It
but-
was McLean. It was
Yeah,
Heather.
Heather,
Heather
yeah.
McLean. Yeah.
But I think to do that too was like, okay, I can run this quick by myself. Like, I can do these things now by myself. I do find myself isolated or stranded or, caught off the back of faith again or whatever. So I'm really ambitious on her chances to medal. I would love nothing more for it to be gold. Like, she's getting advice from like Sally Pearson's like gold medalist.
And you were
in
saying
2012
that
and,
that there's never been an
We've never had
Australian
one.
15
Yeah. Never
medalist
had a
in the
medal in
women's,
the
yeah.
1500.
That's
women's.
awesome. And
Wow.
and can
Yeah.
we just quickly before I know we're going, baby.
Yeah.
Like Emily Mackay and Nikki Hiltz also I think equally have just as good as a shot as Ellie to medal.
Nikki, I'm probably
course, yeah.
I'm bigger on of the US.
I'm yeah.
crew.
Really?
I think they are going to run very fast.
And I've
Yeah.
firsthand, I coached Nikki for that year, was teammates with Nikki
Yeah.
Professionally and in college. Nikki is one of the most talented runners I've ever been around. It's one of those, like, you see the splits like in a workout or like what
You think,
they're supposed to do, and
my
it's like,
God.
what the
I mean,
hell,
that
what the hell is
that
this?
that
How the hell did you
trials
do that?
that trials race was one of the highlights of the whole meet. Just
Absolutely.
an unbelievable
Mhm.
race.
and then I think to perform at that stage that well, and then also defend the title, defend the indoor titles. Like, Nikki's gotten over, if there was any sort of like big moment like yips or anything like that, I don't think that there's going to be any
Gone
issue
now.
Yeah.
issue here.
Gone now.
All right. Well, women's 1500, really interesting. As
One of the races of the meet.
I'm probably
Super
more
interesting.
excited
It's
for
on-
the women's
you
15
have to wait until
than
the
men's.
final day.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna miss that race.
And
I have to be
Emily-
on
I
the
can't
marathon starting
believe
line.
that.
And
That's
Emily-
an awesome-
Emily Mackay.
You're
it's
gonna
like-
miss the race.
He's missing.
I'm
the race.
missing that race.
Yeah.
Oh well, I might actually. I have to look very closely at the schedule and see if I can actually watch that race and
between.
then bolt out of the stadium and get to the marathon starting line in time.
I just can't believe
you're gonna
miss
Jesus
that.
Yeah,
brother.
and then
Can't
I
believe
A
it.
helicopter.
Yeah.
Handing the
Helicopter
marathon
this man to the start
so
line.
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah,
Line bike.
we'll see.
It's just so
That'll
we
be
don't skip
interesting.
over Emily. Emily has, like, I think some of the biggest upside of any U.S. athlete
Yeah.
in any event right now.
Mm.
Just with that, especially that 157
I
earlier
mean,
this year in a
157,
huge
yeah,
training block.
Yeah.
I know making the team is huge. Getting to her trials is massive, but like, or second.
Yeah. Was it
but
second?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
second. Yeah.
How was that, Mitch? For the listeners, Mitch just took a swig out of the Olipop. We snuck a bunch of Olipop into
Magnificent.
France.
Haven't had a bad Olipop.
It
How
the-
was your time? I mean, they didn't ask me no questions getting in here.
Yeah.
I was, for some
Not a
reason,
single
every time I come up to like a border crossing, I'm like,
Are you getting
Alright.
so nervous?
I'm getting really,
I
really
get
nervous.
really nervous.
I'm like,
You'd think I'm smuggling
like,
something
I don't
in the
know
country.
if my
yeah.
story's airtight
Yeah.
enough to get in.
Do
That
you,
you're
say, do you
coming-
say you're on holiday or do you say you're working?
Well, okay, so here's a good story. One time I was racing in Canada.
Yeah.
I didn't prep for
Oh,
it.
this is big when you're a pro runner,
Right?
Working or leisure.
yeah.
And they asked, like, where are you staying? I go, I'm not really sure.
you can't say that.
Uh-oh.
Right. Well, I was like, I gotta talk. I was like, I've got it somewhere in my email. I was just underprepared. And the guy, the border patrol guy was furious. And he said, I should send your ass right to the back of the line. I'm like, please, been waiting all day. I'm like, please don't, like it's here on my phone. I can bring it up. He was actually just disappointed.
Yeah.
You gotta be prepared for this shit. You know you're coming through
Yeah.
here. I'm like, you're right. So now, ever since then, I'm like in the line. Like I'm staying here. I'm like, this
You've
is
got
what
all
I'm
your stuff
doing here. This
printed
is
out
what
like
I'm
you're
doing here.
65 years old.
Here's my itinerary. I'm really excited to be in your country.
Yeah.
And then
Can't wait
I-
to turn around.
I'm sweating. Hand my passport. Nothing.
I'm like,
Stamps
this
it.
time?
Today.
Stamps
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
and you let you
stamped. I'm like,
Some of them are really relaxed.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are just. Your guys' TSA is way worse.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I always.
I just slide
Yeah.
through.
Oh, yeah, you guys are fuck.
I just
I
dap
had-
up the guy.
I had a guy ask me once
He says, "Welcome
when
home."
I
Alex."
came to America in 2022, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And similar to you, I shit my pants, and I was like, "Do I tell him I'm here for work or what?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just here for a holiday." He's like, "How long?" I was like, 6 weeks. He goes, "Huh?" And he's like looking at me. He goes, "How do you plan on paying for this?" And I was like, "With money." And I was like, "Don't
Like,
be
okay, smart
I
ass.
was like, don't be a smart ass."
Yeah.
He's like, "Huh?" He's like, "Do you mind sharing your bank account? Show me your bank account." I was
Well.
like, "Yeah, no, I don't feel comfortable doing
He's
that."
like, that's
I was like,
fine.
"I'm not doing. Why the fuck would I show you that?" And I think he was just trying to test how far he could go. I was like, "I'm not doing that." He's like,
Classic
"Okay,
American.
then stamp this
Classic
on your way."
Yank.
I'm like, "Holy fuck, dude!" I'm like, I'm so nervous. I get so even coming into Portland for the trials. I was like, "What do I say? Am
I
here
always
for
feel.
work?
I
Do
feel
I
like
need a visa? Do I not need a visa?"
Going-
It's like
I
Jason
don't
Bourne
need
passing
one.
one of your fake
Oh,
passports. and
exactly. As a pro going to race in Australia,
Oh.
all the agents are like, "You're not going for work.
Yeah, don't
Do not tell
yeah.
them you're going for
Going for a
work. You
holiday.
will not be able to enter the
Yeah, 'cause
country.
you have
You're
to have a full
going for
working visa.
holiday.
Yeah,
That's it."
it's a different visa.
And it's like you can't take any prize money.
Yeah.
If you take prize money down in Australia, you're
They'll know.
done.
Yeah.
Or if you're like me, you get a speeding ticket and you never go back to the country.
yeah, that makes sense.
It's gonna make Brisbane very interesting for us.
They would have forgotten about it.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Don't worry about it.
Probably gone to
I
back.
can't- yeah,
collections.
You got
yeah.
live stream back at the border.
Australia's
Mate,
most
this
wanted.
has accumulated 40 grand in interest. It's like, huh, that's
Yeah.
weird.
We have a Patreon and a Venmo.
I'm actually
Yeah.
back mate. That was my brother.
Listen, I know
Not
I've gotten
fleet.
bigger.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not the same guy.
Men's 1500.
Oh my
you guys excited about this
God.
one?
Oh.
All right. This is the one that everyone's been billing up as probably the event to watch. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the reigning Olympic champion, versus 2023 world champion Josh Kerr.
Play the song.
Yeah, Jakob Ingebrigtsen dropping music in the days leading up
Play the song.
to the Olympics.
How sick is that?
That was a great track.
So sick.
Yeah.
Do you
you
have any
listen?
Well,
like?
as Ricky Roxford,
Well,
Yeah.
what are your
Oh,
thoughts?
As
come
Ricky
on,
Roxford.
dog.
No. Thank you, Chris. I wasn't able. I haven't quite like got all the memory yet. I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
And I
makes it
didn't.
difficult.
Shocking.
It made it really tough.
Shocking.
But I had a feeling that they were talking about all the great Norwegian athletes, and that's just me piecing stuff together, right?
You watched the video.
I watched the video. My brain was firing. I go, great Norwegian Olympic
Yeah.
athletes.
Great moments in Norway's
Um,
athletic history.
It's I absolutely love the move. There's so much because he has kind of been leading the charge on all the shit talk, and it's the best thing by far going on in the sport right now as far
Yeah.
as kind of sprints to like distance for sure. Is the rivalry between him and Kerr, and then to drop a
Yeah.
song in the middle of it
with a
I
music
mean,
video.
with a music
with his
video,
brothers.
right after a
Yeah.
was it after the
Yeah,
326?
after 326.
I mean, the dude is loose.
Yeah. he's on one right now.
Guy is
Yeah.
it is
Do you-
bag.
Do you want me to read you the lyrics translated?
100%.
Okay.
Read
People-
me.
in
Read
the
me. Read
rhythm.
me. Actually,
I want it in the
whole
rhythm of the
song
song.
might take a while, but read
Yeah.
me his best bars.
Yeah.
Does it hit as well translated?
Probably. I mean, it's just like it's
It won't flow the same.
really well produced. Like they
Yeah.
got
I believe he's got the first verse, right?
like
Jakob
Yeah.
sings in it.
It was
Okay,
good.
so-
Yeah.
It was good.
It's-
it was
I
good.
really liked it.
All right, it's people of Norway.
Yeah.
Today
call
we
out.
make the king proud.
Oh,
Today we
Christ.
make the king proud
Wait, is he the king?
when we lift the gold up. Guess who? Little Norway. Little Norway, they give it again. Victory is ours and it goes straight home.
Oh.
Nobody does it better than us.
Okay, hold on.
Is he the king?
We were
Does
just
Norway
talking
have a
about how
king?
it's like it's pretty intimidating and like scary to talk shit in the distance events because it is so humbling and you are putting yourself on the line, and especially in these really fast races, it's hard. And he puts out a song that says like, guess who the fuck is gonna bring the gold home
It's
and
me.
make the king proud?
Yeah.
It's me.
It's me.
Me.
It's so sick.
Then it goes, I think this is his verse. From fjord, I guess that's a place, and mountains, comes in from the side with a big bang. Gold goes to the farmer from the north. Tonight, no one does it better than us. people of Norway, today we make the king proud. Today we make the king proud when we lift the gold up. Then they do that.
That's amazing.
God, like you gotta deliver after this.
Yeah.
The king is listening to this,
Yeah.
like,
The
like
king's
he's
like,
I
like,
love-
damn, this guy's
Pencil
spinning.
it
This
in.
has turned
He's
into
like,
one of
"There's
those
a
like there's
gold."
tons of those YouTube channels that just like dissect.
Oh,
rap
yeah,
lyrics.
yeah.
Like the recent beef with like
Yeah.
Kendrick and Drake. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, so what did he mean
All
by
right,
this?
so,
Like,
okay,
we're
he
gonna go back
released-
to 1996, right, when he started talking when he was born.
All right.
Fuck.
So for
But-
this one,
Pretty party.
just a couple weeks ago, Jakob Ingebrigtsen does throw down that 326.73, essentially fires a warning shot at
Serious
Josh Kerr.
warning
Yeah, I
shot.
think that was. I think it was at
6
me
all
though.
times.
I think he took my question at Prefontaine Classic personally.
Which was what?
I was like, hey, any chance you switch up your tactics in the
You
the
gotta
finals?
be you
And
gotta be
he
careful asking
straight
these
up-
questions,
straight
dude.
up- I mean, a few of the athletes do it where they just start asking you questions
Yeah.
instead, and it's just
Oh,
like
and then
it's
you're
like,
in deep water.
I- I know me as a person. I know he's not going to change tactics because he is really good and successful at doing what he does. But it's worth the question
But the
because he's gotten
regular
beat over the last
watcher,
couple of years from Whiteman and from
Kerr.
Kerr, where they sit on him. So I'm like, yeah, maybe there is a chance. There isn't.
Wait,
But
so he
it's
fired
worth the
back
question.
at you?
Yeah, he goes, well, if I were to win 28 of my last 30 races, would you say that's successful? I'm like, yeah, of course. Duh.
Look, I'm
You're
good
like
at
one of the
math,
best 1500 meter
Yeah.
runners, 5K runners of all time. Like,
Let's bring up the DraftKings. What are what are the odds?
But-
You got-
He'd be paying nothing.
but I do think that 327 does show me that he's ready to pull from the front, and
Yeah.
he's not gonna fuck around like doing anything else.
No.
He's gonna be like, all right, this is what I'm gonna run. Come get me.
I really liked his. It wasn't. Was it? It was like 2 or 3 races ago where he negative split every single 100 from about 800 out. Basically,
Wow.
like the Guru's 2004 pull, where it's just a squeeze every single.
That's pretty
100.
sick. I didn't know that.
Oh, it was. What race was that?
was that in Oslo?
That's
I think it was Oslo Diamond League last
Yeah.
year.
the
I
Oslo
didn't
di-
realize he was
He,
cutting
he
it down
every
like that.
single 100 from 800 out was
Wow.
was a little bit faster.
That's sick.
I mean, it is such an exciting race because these guys like Kerr can run fast. Like he's going to need to run super fast at the end, and the rounds that these guys have to run like to make it through to the final. I mean, it's crazy. Like you
Yeah.
have to run like they're going to be running like 3:32
or faster.
or faster to make the final
Yeah.
in like
I think so.
multiple days in a row.
I think so. I think the one thing that and I would say I regularly look at Kerr, and it's not that it's just, he doesn't look like he can run that fast.
And then he goes out and does it.
and then he goes out and does it every single time, and I'm like, God damn! He just,
I mean,
he
his
just
Bowerman
still
mile-
does it.
Yeah.
The Bowerman mile, and I'm like, he doesn't. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't look like he's moving that quickly, and he's said for I think over 2 years that like this final is going to take 326 or something,
Yeah.
327 to win, and
Yeah.
like every single time that he's put that out, like this is what it's going to take. He's been right.
He's supremely confident. He
And so
talks confident. He backs it up.
Him, like more than 12 months ago, talking about like this race is going to be extremely fast, and I'm going to be ready to run that quickly, has me believing that he is going to be able to do it.
He's
Yeah.
been engaged for so long because he scheduled his wedding for this fall because he's this focused on this race. It's kind of wild.
It's, I mean, props
have you
to
heard of
him.
the five?
He's
Have you
getting-
guys seen the 5-year engagement?
Yeah. He's
You
like,
asked for the odds?
Yeah, you bet your ass I did.
It would be Jakob.
Jakob
Ingebrigtsen
Ingebrigtsen is
$1.20.
the
Don't say
favorite.
company.
Yeah. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is the favorite.
I'm gonna
Hold on,
bet my
I
whole
just
life savings on
had
Cole
it.
Hawker. See how that works.
So he's minus 185. Josh Kerr plus 130.
Yeah.
That's value.
The third best guy in the field, according to these odds,
Laros?
Cole Hawker at plus 900.
So some of this is affected by just the public betting, and also this is I'm guessing an American. But
It is an American
Yeah.
book. Yeah, we're not going to give free shout outs here.
Where's Laros?
Niels Laros you can get for plus 5,000.
That's insane. That is insane. Oh my god, are you serious?
about-
Tim's gonna trip
Wait,
the whole field
I'm
right,
getting,
right
I'm
off the
getting on
gun.
my phone.
Timothy Chariot plus 1,500.
That's a good bet.
That is value.
Yar-
Really?
Yard Nagus plus 1,800.
Yeah.
I'm looking through.
Timmy C.
Timmy
I
might
wish
win,
Timmy
dude.
C. Okay, I'm a huge fan of Tim Chariot. I just love how he runs. Great dude. Like, met him a few times.
He's awesome.
Just so
Good guy.
fun.
Good
Yeah.
fan.
And he's always ready to get after it on the track.
Yeah.
Pained to see him not healthy over the last couple of years. And now watching him kind of come back, I'm like, damn, I wish he had 2 more months. Like, I just wish he had a couple more months. Just
Well,
to, like,
what did he
mix it
just
up a
run?
little bit more.
328.
Yeah, so he ran 328, and
Which
he's
is
coming around at the right
crazy, 'cause
time.
It's one of his. It's probably one of his top 3 fastest times of all
Yeah.
time. But he
And-
doesn't look. He
and
doesn't look.
Doesn't look that final
And it's
shot.
overshadowed by
edge.
the fact that Jakob beat him by 2 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think Timothy Chariot is very overlooked here.
Yep.
Hey.
That's wild value at what that is.
Mhm. Not that we're encouraging anything. Just
No,
being,
this is not
No,
advice.
This is not advice. This is not financial advice at all. But that is value.
But bet the house.
Take out of your parents' wallet.
To your
Yeah.
point, I'll
Joke.
I'm bringing it up. It's his 4th fastest performance.
Yeah.
His best since July 2021.
I can say, talking to some of these 1,500 guys, multiple, that there is a lot of conversation around how well Tim Chariot could run at these championships. I think I think internally, inside of the ranks of guys that are running the 1,500, he is someone that is very well respected and someone that will be very well respected come race day.
You can guarantee that he's going to be at the front of the field and he's going to be the first person to move behind whoever is setting the pace.
Yeah.
He's always up in the front, and he's always like, "Oh yeah, we're going from a K out. Let's get it."
Yeah. That's where I wanted to go.
And he'll battle for the lead multiple times over the final couple laps.
Yeah. It's going to be a great race. I mean, I'm on the definitely, I've been singing this song for a long time. I think Kerr does win. I actually do think he's going to be the gold
We don't need to
medalist.
do picks. We don't need to do
We're
picks.
not
Well,
doing
I'm just
picks.
going to do
We're
it.
not. Mitch, please.
I'm just going to go there.
I like it.
I
The
think
other
he
thing-
does win.
Laros fell in London
He did,
and
and
still
ran
ran 349, which
349. That
is
is
kind of
crazy.
crazy.
That's probably why
It's
his
insane.
odds are
Literally
that bad.
horizontal.
Insane. The guy was laying down on the track in
He
lane
was
5.
horizontal.
Yeah.
One of the worst ways to run 349.
Couldn't think of a worse way to run
Horizontally?
349.
Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, lie down right off the gun.
Would not recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised that his
Try
odds
it.
are that high.
Try to
because-
run 349
Larry Ross. And
after the gun goes
Yeah.
off and you're laying
Lay
down
down.
on the ground.
Yeah, have a nap. See what happens.
And then the Americans. Can we do the
let's
Americans really
let's
quickly?
yeah.
Cole Hawker's never looked better. We haven't seen him run that massive like sub 330 time over 1,500 meters to give us like
Yeah.
I think confidence to think like, oh, he's got a real shot at like a gold or silver, but like.
Well, it's like it's tough because we're talking like we're like
I
gold
think he can
and
get a medal.
silver. Yeah,
I think he
like
get a
I
bronze.
absolutely,
Absolutely,
I
should be in the
absolutely believe
conversation for a medal.
Americans are going to be in the hunt for at least a medal.
Mm.
It's just tough, like to say that. Oh, can Cole Hawker win a gold medal? Like, yeah, maybe in like like on a perfect day, but I just don't see him necessarily. Like right now, do I see him beating a Jakob Ingebrigtsen who's like
All
on his off days can run 328? Like, no,
yeah,
I don't
Jakob's
see
got a
that.
5-0 record against Cole.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the
Well,
tool-
yeah,
all the
so-
tools, all the tools that Cole has, Jakob can cover those.
Has, yeah.
He
Yeah.
has those.
Also, I do think like Cole's best, like his best races come when it's like a like the trials where it's like a 3:30 mid race where he throws down an insane last 400 to run really fast. After multiple rounds of fast races, as we said, it's going to take really fast times to get through that final. After 2 of those, and then you've got the biggest race of your life, and you've got Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Josh Kerr in the front pulling let's just say like 327, like 327, 328. Let's say it's around that. It's going to take a huge day for Cole Hawker to be in the medals. He can absolutely be in the medals. Yard Nagus will certainly be in the medals, like around that like 3rd, 4th spot, gunning like in the right spot, trying to hang on and battle for those positions down the line.
Yard. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yard Nagus versus Timmy C is going to be really fun because I
They
think
run similar.
I think they
yeah.
exist in the same space in that race.
Yes.
Can I put just like a
Go ahead,
tinge of negative thought out into the air if that's
Dang it,
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I
Count all the
fear,
sunshine
what
and rainbows.
scares me about Cole and how he races, Robbie Andrews in Rio.
Oh yeah.
Getting
Wait.
DQ'd because of the rail.
Oh,
Because
He
he
loves the rail.
refuses to move outside.
He
And
loves the rail.
And Robbie was DQ'd out of the semis for stepping on the
Inside.
inside by trying to move up the inside. And Cole has just shown over and over and over again that he doesn't like moving out. He likes to just like stay true to running 1500.0 meters.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about some of these semis, like if there's going to be a blanket 332, it's going to get so messy down the home stretch.
Yeah.
And it just like, I'm terrified not seeing Cole ever really move out, that he's going to be in the best situation to get through maybe one of these races where he's not up in the front and he's fighting for big Q spots going through.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
of
about the
course.
repechage.
Yeah.
Well,
That's-
that
that's-
sets us up perfectly because, I'm glad the cameras are rolling. Heats are out.
Oh,
Heat
they're
sheets
out.
are out, so we'll get to react live in real time to the heat sheets.
The heat sheet guys are out.
You guys haven't seen these. I
Yeah,
have them in
Not at
front
the
of me
river.
right now.
Yeah.
Not at
The
river
Olympic
today.
trial boys are
Yeah.
out for the heat sheet.
All
Are we
right.
zigging or are we zagging?
They're up.
All right. So
Are we
heat,
zigging or zagging?
Yeah,
I hope
what-
they zig.
I'm team zag.
I hope they zig.
here we go. Heat 1. Mario Garcia Romo, Brian Koeman, Samuel Filstrom, Abdisa Fayisa
I want to be in
from
this heat.
Ethiopia,
Hold on.
Ollie Hoare,
Yeah.
Narv Nordas,
Oh.
Anas Asai,
Yep.
Ryan Mfali, Philip Rack, Cathal Doyle, Josh Kerr, Joachim Vermeulen, Robert Farkin, Yard Nagus, Usama Masalik.
He got a little bit harder.
He
I'm
got
feeling
tough.
pretty good in that top 5 though.
So
But
You
it's
would-
again,
tough.
this one it's first
Not me.
first 6
I'm feeling good.
first 6
Put
in
me
each
in there.
heat
for 6.
Oh, 6.
Oh, yeah, good heat.
advance to the semifinal. The rest will head to the repechage, except for people who DNS, DNF, or get DQ'd.
Holy
So
fuck.
everyone-
Okay, whoa.
Do
everyone
not
gets
step
through.
off the track if you're out of 6. Just finish.
So everyone gets to go in.
Yeah, everyone who's not automatic goes to the
everyone
repechage.
who is not.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a big
It's
heat of
gonna be
losers.
wild.
Is it?
It's gonna be the Wild West. In
Is
these
it just one
repechages.
one
so it's going to be
repechage
18.
heat?
How many
No,
people
it
on
can't be.
Charlotte's 12?
That was 15
And it's top 6.
So there's 9.
in top 6.
9.
So for this one, we
There'd
can
be like
assume.
two-
Let's try and pick our
two
6 here.
heats of repechage.
Let's try and pick our 6 here.
9, 9, and 9.
Josh Kerr, Yard Nagus, Narv Nordas,
Ollie Hoare.
Ollie Hoare.
Mario Garcia,
Mario Garcia.
Ramirez.
and you get one more. That's
And
that's
then a
who will make
wild
it
card.
through.
And then wild card, yeah. Well,
But see, I feel like you'd also feel good being in that group because that's a good group that can all stay out of trouble from each other, but
Brian
make it
Coleman,
fast enough
probably
to not
from
Yeah.
run any risk of not being in
all
that
right,
top
heat
6.
2.
I think that's going to be
It's a best case scenario. For
yards
Ollie.
in there.
Yeah.
2 training part, 3
I
training
don't think.
partners.
Oh, yeah.
3 on
Three
training
training
guys
partners.
all on the same.
All right.
Not
Dathan
yeah.
is.
Yard's going to have to lead the last.
They'll run like a real. They'll run
David's
like the
stoked.
smoothest 333 you've 332 you've
Yeah.
ever seen in your life.
You'll see Yard leading from 8 to
Butter on
100
bread.
meters ago, and then he'll get.
Josh
passed
Kerr
by
will
2
be like
Okay.
Josh Kerr will be in like
Kerr will be
like on the shoulder lane one the whole
Pumping the
time,
crowd.
pumping the crowd,
Come on,
Heat
dominating.
boys.
2.
Yeah.
Isaac
Man,
Nieder,
great win for Ollie.
George Mills, Mel Guyette, Teshepo Cheat, Adele Michal, Cole Hawker, Marius Probst, Charles Philibert Thibodeau, Stewie McSwain,
Yeah.
Pietro Arese, Luke McCann, Ruben Verdin, Timothy Chariot, Ermias Gurma, Niels Laros.
That's the heat to be in.
This is the heat.
That's the heat.
Wait, heat 3 is gonna be fucking loaded.
Yeah,
So
That's
because-
got some good guys.
Heat
Because
two.
what's
Yeah.
You got Cole, Stewie.
yeah, but
Laros.
Stewie's going to the front.
so the
Yeah,
top
once
six,
he gets over the fact he can't run an opening 100, he'll be at the front.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have a guaranteed pace setter in Stewie.
He'll be all right. Yeah.
Laros has gotta get clear.
No,
Yeah,
you
he's
don't
got
want to be the guy starting
Honestly-
next to Laros. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, man, step back.
I'm like,
step
yeah.
back one
Take
step.
just count to
Take your
2.
time, dude.
Count to 2.
You'll make it through. Just take your fucking time off the
is
line.
Laros the guy who
Please.
has been? Is he at fault? I don't want to be. I don't want to be
Yeah.
accusing him for the trip.
Well,
Is
it
he fallen? Is he fallen?
He's
He's fallen
fallen
twice,
twice.
maybe 3 times.
So's Giles, but he's not here, so that's okay.
so there's 6 guys in this heat who have run under 333, and Niels Laros hasn't run in 1500 so far this year, but he's in that fitness.
Yeah, easily.
So there
He'll
are 7 guys who are
pissing
better
it.
than
Pissing
everyone
it.
else. This goes down. I think the 6 who will come out of this will be Laros, Chariot, Hawker, George Mills, and then you fight between the likes of Isaac Nadar, Pietro Arce, Adele Michal, Luke McCann.
I think
Maybe?
Michal.
Michal has proven
Stewie.
at a
Stewie-Ann.
championship.
Oh, Stewie.
yeah,
Yeah, Stewie.
Stewie's just at his season best puts him all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, I
at
know.
335.
Which
I
is
don't
hard.
like this field against Stewie.
It doesn't suit a lot of people.
No, but
Yeah.
in a weird way where like if Stewie isn't up for the last 100, that's kind of scary for Stewie.
It is. He like notorious. Well, it's weird. He had
This
a
could be-
year
this
there
could-
where
the
his
time
kick was really
qualifiers come
good, and
here.
it hasn't been quite as good since like 2021, 2.
Well, he
but
also just likes leading.
he loves leading.
Like he's just
Yeah.
comfortable being at the front, pushing the
See,
pace, making
the
it
best
hard.
thing about Stewie is that he is really good at rounds.
Yeah.
For that exact reason, like
Like, he'll
has
make it into
no
the
problem
final.
being in the front. Yeah. And then it's like, come and get me.
He'll go run through 33, 332.
Piss it in.
Yeah.
He'll easily run that. That's the thing. Like, and this has been a bit of dialogue in Australia where it's like, man, we should have just run the 5 because you're on 12:56. It's like, you got to remember this guy at his best was our Australian record. He's run 3:29.
Yeah.
Right. He is, from all accounts, very healthy. Hasn't had a hiccup. Like he came through. What did he run? Like 7:30 low in that 3K, and he was fired up. when
He's
I
gone
spoke
under
to him.
7:30 before too,
Yeah,
right?
he's run
in
7:28.
Rome,
Yeah.
did he like
Yeah,
leading
Rome,
like
like
right from the
2018
gun
maybe?
where
Yeah.
where Ingebrigtsen had his like coming out party
Like
for the 3K?
he's
Like
so capable,
Yeah.
Stewie. I would love to see him have a Jess moment where it's like he has that realization. Not that I don't think he can, because he always tries to throw down with the best.
but you're talking about like, oh yeah, like he's better, like he's got better chances in the 5. It's like the 5 is
Yeah.
just as we'll talk
It's-
about in a few
it's
minutes.
crazy.
is,
You looked
at the front end
loaded
of
up.
that?
like he's
Could be
12:56, doesn't
killers
put him
up
in
there
like the
too,
top
yeah.
10 or something. It's like, yeah, no, it sounds great on paper as an Australian, but you put that
Oh, yeah.
globally, it's like he's probably got the same chance in the 15 that he has in the 5.
Oh, I think he's better in the 15.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's had like the last Olympics. I remember it very clearly where it was Stewie was in 3rd place.
Yep.
Like basically had that bronze in the bag.
Mm.
If he could just hold on.
Yeah.
If like, because I remember thinking, okay, like this is the toughest spot to be in as an athlete, where you're dead.
Yeah.
Like you're coming up to the bell lap, and you've got a huge gap.
Mm.
All you need to do is just hold on and just stay with these. You're like, okay, look, here are the medals. The medals. I'm in 3rd place right now. I just need to hang here, and I've got an Olympic medal.
Mm.
And he just faded because, it was a brutal race.
Yeah.
I mean, like not a lot out, but like
But getting himself in that position.
getting himself in that
so
position.
good
He's so
at
good at doing
positioning,
that.
yeah.
He's so good
Very
at
good at
wrapping his
positioning.
mind around the
Yeah.
concept of this is going to be an insanely fast race, and
Yeah.
he's always up to run really hard,
No,
which is like what you're going to need for in the
Yeah.
15.
I agree. He's a weird one to.
extremely calloused when
Yeah.
it comes to like committing to run
Oh,
hard.
100%. Yeah, he's got no fear. And I actually think Ollie is starting to do a bit more of that as well. Ollie's beaten Chariot at a major. He won our Com Games and knocked off Tim.
Oh, yeah,
knocked
that
off,
was an
like, the
insane
might of
race,
The
yeah.
Kenyans. Yeah.
He just
So,
won another. He
ju-
just
yeah,
won.
he just won the
he's,
mile
like,
in London.
Like does amazing things for
Yeah,
confidence.
got ripped up in Monaco. I actually thought he'd torn his Achilles. We couldn't put it in the interview, but he literally had cut open his like part of his Achilles in Monaco. Managed to hold on fine, but like as an Australian, I'm very excited about what could happen in this fight. These 2 guys were also finalists in 2021. Adam, I hope, makes it through as well. Who's a 3:31 guy too, out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would hate running against you because it's just like, damn, it's gonna be quick.
I bet. Can you
He's
chill
gonna
like
be at the
today?
front. It's
Yeah.
gonna be quick. Like, man, we've gapped everyone. You don't need to do this, but I just don't think he has that off switch where he just like backs it down.
All right, final heat.
Yeah, this should be huge.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen,
There it is.
Neil Gorley, Azadine Hobbs, Hobbs Kessler,
Yikes!
Reynold Chariot,
Jesus.
Andrew Koskren,
Ooh, love
Samuel
Andy.
Tefera,
Jesus.
Federico Riva,
Who made the heat, Chief?
Raphael
Same
Pillitz,
guys.
Stefan Nielsen, Kieran Lum, Ignacio Fontes, Samuel Tanner, Adam Spencer.
Brutal heat to be in.
In this one, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys who have broken 333.
Does Jakob do the go walk off the line?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In this
yeah.
one?
We'll sit at the back and just pick.
And
him
then
off.
no one's gonna know what
It'd
to
be
do
the
because they're all
sixth-
freaked
it'd
out
be
that
the-
he's in the race.
It'll be the 3rd guy through, but it'll be a blistering last 250.
You know what's funny is that like the same things that happened in high school, like dual meets, happens at this level,
Mm.
where it's like they race around the best person,
Yeah.
and even these athletes that are the best in the world, they still defer to.
It's also interesting. Like Jakob isn't the type of like he's not like I'm gonna win this race at all costs. He's just qualifying. He's like I'll kick hard and like if I end up in like third, like who cares?
He's likely going to win,
Oh,
but
yeah,
he's
no,
not
he'll
going to
win.
crush himself to do.
He'll win,
to
but
do
he
it.
just
Move
doesn't.
from fifth
He's
to
just
first to
so
do it.
smart. Like he's just such a smart racer, and he doesn't like get hung up. Like you could see him like pumping up the crowd and like coming in set. Like he's not. I think he'll easily. I think he's gonna win it for sure. I think he walks off the line. I think he. It's you see like what like when Jakob doesn't lead, his kick is insane. Like he just absolutely has a blistering last 200, 150. He storms past incredibly strong. I expect to see that. So I think it'll be.
It's gonna be really fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's.
I can't wait for whatever, and I said this yesterday, like whatever big piece of like chaos comes out of this. That's just what I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
And you weren't here, but like, unfortunately at trials, it was the Thing Mo incident.
Yeah.
But like, as a fan, that's just like entertaining for the event.
Oh
you,
yeah.
you know, and something is going to happen in one of these races that is
I really
chaotic.
like the. So I mean, we haven't really touched on it, but the reparge.
You like it?
Repechage.
Like, am I
Repechage.
I'm like,
Repechage.
yeah.
Think of it as like repechage.
I'm like, I shouldn't have even brought it up.
that round that
The
they run,
loser.
they
It's a
don't
loser's
make
heat.
it.
idiot.
It's a
Yeah.
loser's
Losers
heat.
bracket.
It's a
Yeah.
loser's
Yeah.
heat.
I do like that. I think it's and it makes
You like it better than small
I hate
cube?
it.
you hate it.
Why do
I
we need
think
to see those people run again?
Well, I think it's fun. Like
They're
I
not-
do like. Well, it's just like more
That's
races.
so brutal.
It's
um,
not. There's like no little cues that have like
Ever made it to the final?
yeah. It's
think.
something crazy like
Wait,
that.
no little cues
Has
have
it
ever
ever
made
made
it to
the
the final.
final?
No, they all have made it to the final.
they're all that.
No,
They've
but like
got
little
little
cues
cues.
out of the prelims.
Oh,
like
okay, I see what
almost
you're
never.
saying.
Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
little
yeah.
cues
Yeah.
out of the prelims
Yeah.
don't.
Okay, but let's say
What if someone
let's say Jakob
trips?
Ingebrigtsen trips
Yeah.
and has to run in the
repechage.
repechage.
This saves some of the big stars from like massive mistakes. Like Sharika Jackson wishes that there was a repechage from
Imagine if there was a
2021.
repechage at
Tokyo
at,
Olympics.
at
The
the
trials.
trials.
Yeah.
With a thing.
And the thing has to run against like 208.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, cool, that's fine.
No,
That's
that would have
fine.
been no. There's no repechage after the semifinal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It
Oh,
only
okay.
goes, it goes.
It's
That
just-
makes sense.
repechage,
yeah.
semi-final.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
This is what Mac and I have talked about a bit though, is like at what point in one of these races when the fracture is made and that automatic 6 goes up the track, are you just like,
Not
well, I'm not
because
getting there,
you're
so I'm
not
just gonna
fighting for the
jog.
little
Yeah,
cues.
so I'm just going to cruise and get ready to run
I
tomorrow.
don't
Because
think
the other thing is it's the next morning.
Yeah.
So it's like immediately the next day
so
you're running
so that's
again.
another like part of the dynamic that I didn't necessarily think about, that it might make these races less competitive up front.
Absolutely, it could. It could really. You could find yourself scenario that happens so often. Top 6 start to drift away. There's a 20-meter gap or 10-meter gap, or whatever you want to call it, and there's that like invisible elastic band. Is it going to snap? Is it not? And you could just go. I could all out haul ass and try and get to that top 6 and come 7th by a fraction, and I've got to come back tomorrow and run again. Versus I could have backed off 5 seconds.
I could walk it in.
Jogged, and I'll be fresher to run this repechage tomorrow. Like
And then
that'll
you-
be a genuine thought process for
Yeah.
so many people.
I guess
then-
it just depends how fast these races are because we have seen a bunch of blanket finishes
Yeah.
in fast races. Will that make it so that because you're going to get the guys who are not like who aren't in the top 6 hunt for sure dogging it in, but like I feel like it'll still be. I mean, unless it's really
but
fast.
like why? But if you're one of those guys that's not going
Why
to be in the
would you
top 6,
bother?
why would you even bother?
Oh no,
running hard?
100%.
Yeah, I'd be
If
cruising.
you know you're not,
Yeah.
if you know that it's going to be a fast, like in the third, let's say the third heat's very fast,
Yeah.
or very stacked, and let's say it's the last round of the day, so maybe it's fast also, and if you're sitting there like in 10th place, it's hot through 800, you're like, I'm shutting it down.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
100%.
I'm not even saying
Absolutely.
800 meters. I'm saying off the gun.
Yeah, no, if you know it's fast, like
Yeah.
it's
You
actually
give yourself
dumb.
one lap to suss
It's
it out.
dumb
You're
to
like,
run.
I'm not getting there.
It's like it's
Yeah.
actually not smart
Because
to
your
run as hard.
tactical best chance might be to go like, I'm going to cruise here. I'm going to beat the other guys that didn't get through for repechage, and then I have a day and a half to prepare for a semifinal. Yes, I had to run another 1,500 in between, but if I saved legs,
We were just talking about
If
this.
your
Yeah.
only goal is to make it to the next round,
Then
it
you
makes
should
sense to
cruise.
not do
You
it.
should
Well,
cruise.
2 slower races,
Yeah.
it probably takes a lot less out of you. Well, because let's say you truly dog it, right?
Yeah.
You get off the line, you're
Yeah,
through
say
600, and you know it's
you're
brutal.
running an
Yeah.
8
I'm
minute
done.
15.
I'm gonna finish the race, but I'm not trying.
Yeah.
And then you run the next day, and you know it's gonna be like, let's say, a 3:36 race.
Yeah.
That's gonna take a whole lot less out of you than kicking incredibly hard. Maybe you get top 6 in a 3:31 race.
Absolutely.
And
And,
if you-
then you're like,
if
I have a day off, but now I'm
Yeah.
If you're coming into this
Way
thing
more
with,
rare.
I wonder what the slowest PB is, but if you're coming in with like a 332 PB or 330, whatever, something around there that isn't a 330 or
You want the
or
slowest
lower.
season's best?
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Why?
it's like,
Why? Why?
Slowest season's best is 3:37.
there you go.
Okay, so anyone that's around there, why would you even try
The only reason I can think of
in
is
the actual?
if it is it for whatever reason it is super slow, it's a huge pack with 300 to go. There's like 12 of you, and
Yeah.
you have some
But
form of
that's-
sniff where you're like,
that's very
I could
slow."
upset that only if it's slow. But if it's fast instead of pace, it would be lifetime best. There's no point.
I mean, if
I
you're
agree with
out,
you.
if you're
There's no
out the
point if
gates
you're
and
gonna
it
run a
is quick,
personal
and
best.
you at all think this feels kind of quick, you should shut it down.
Yeah.
If you're
If you're
Like,
thinking long term,
if you're thinking long term, if you're thinking
If
about
your goal-
how's the goal,
get to the
the goal's
semi,
the goal's to
you
make it
should
to the
shut it
next
down.
round, you should shut it down.
You should shut it down 150 meters.
Oh yeah, like and you will see that because there's gonna be a lot of guys that are just kind of like overwhelmed, and it's like, it's the Olympics now, and you're like, this. I'm not feeling great today. I would feel much better in the losers race.
yeah,
I think my best odds is to make it out of that because is it top six in that too?
And the odds of
I don't
those
know what it
races
is.
going
Of
like
what, the semifinal?
No, like what's
in the
the
repechage.
the
How many get out
repechage?
of the
What's
repechage?
the
No, we haven't heard what the repechage.
Yeah.
It's
I kind of like
crazy.
it.
We don't know. But
yeah,
like,
they're like
make it
it's just
electric.
one.
but
Tell you
also,
on the line,
but your odds would
going.
be even. I think your odds would be better.
absolutely they would.
yeah.
Even if it was only one coming out of the repechage round, I think your odds
Your
are
odds
better.
would be infinitely
Be-
better.
If you literally can't
Yes.
run that fast, you can't run that
Yeah.
fast. There's nothing you can do. The other thing is the people that are pace setting are all going to make it through. So the
Yeah.
repechage rounds are going to be slower than what they probably should be on paper,
Mm.
because no one's going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to make this fast."
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I agree with that. I mean, I kind of liked last year at the World Champs where there was no small, it was just automatic.
Yeah, I like
It's
that, just
6
straight
auto. Yeah,
big
you're in
Q
or
all the
you're
way
out.
through. I didn't necessarily think all the way through that, and I think it's going to be a worse product on TV.
Is the repechage
Yes,
just
yeah.
for the 15?
I think it's going to be significantly
No,
worse product
No,
on
it's
TV.
from
To
200 to
15.
15.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Without hurdles?
No, there's
No,
hurdles.
hurdles repechage.
Hurdle
Why
repechage.
hurdle repechage?
I think this is nuts.
It's kind of like
I mean, it's interesting. It's kind of
it'd be great to do an athlete poll in those events and be like, what do you actually think? Because athletes I could imagine would be like, I like the fact I get a second chance. Like I'm getting 2 races. That's a good thing. But I do think spectator-wise, it is going to be hard on the eyes for those that are watching athletics for the first time. And it's like, I'm watching the pinnacle of this event. Let's see what these
I
women
hope-
and men
Why
can
are
do.
they
And then it's
doing
like,
it?
Why the hell
are they doing
is
it just so that
woman
so
running
that
like-
they aren't leaving stars out of the like why?
No, there was something to the fact it's like
They're trying to get
there are
more.
so many of
more
there's
races.
more there's plenty of TV time that they want to fill, and in addition to that, there are countries that send some of these athletes, and these are the only athletes they don't want someone from one of these smaller countries to only see their athlete compete once.
Yeah.
They want to expose them, give them more national TV time. This isn't for the favorites. It just so happens that favorites who stumble and have a big mistake get a second chance.
I understand.
I
like,
don't necessarily not like it. I'm just
I do like the idea of
Yeah.
more races, but I do also think like what we were just kind of talking about is you might see in these races that it's not quite going to be the level of competition that it should be without these repechage
I
rounds.
hope that we get one like egregious. Oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
there will be someone. There will
I
be
hope we
someone.
There
get- I hope-
should be
yeah.
someone. It
I
makes
hope-
sense to
yeah.
do it.
I hope we get a race where it's like, oh, this isn't like a real competition.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's games, which is like
Slight
it's
games with
fun
chip
in my
involved,
head
yeah.
because people are gaming the system. Like
Yeah.
that's entertaining to me personally. But as
Yeah.
like a product that's on TV and trying to sell, like these are the world's best athletes competing against each other, and then it's like the broadcast isn't going to do a good enough job at like
breaking it down,
breaking it
like,
down
what
to
is
a regular
actually-
viewer
yeah.
of like what the tactics of someone dogging it in.
Yeah. I guess the other side of it then is you think of the break as like, oh yeah, everyone behind there's going to start cruising. There's going to be a point where that top 6 is going to look around and be like, oh, we're all automatic boys. They're not coming to get us.
Yeah,
we can shut it down.
and they
now.
just dog down.
Like 150 guys, like they're not coming.
Yeah.
We'll shut it down.
I didn't think all the way through that.
Yeah.
And it was like really fun to be like, yeah, someone should just like stop running.
Yeah.
But it's like, wait,
That's going to look
why
weird
would you
on
even
TV.
run that
It's
hard?
going to look weird to digest and be like, oh, okay, they're cruising.
Yeah. All right.
Makes the semis entertaining.
I mean, we just like essentially just did a 1500 meter podcast.
Yeah.
But we love that show. We love that.
It's the best.
event.
It's literally the best event in track and field. It is. The hundreds a second.
All right, let's move on up to the women's 5K.
Yeah.
Faith Kipyegon enters this one as the world champion. After last year's world championship, she did lose her world record to Gudaf Sagai, who ran the world record at the Prefontaine Classic. Beatrice Chebet is someone who's going to be doubling in the 5K and the 10K. Just broke the 10K world record. She's another one to really look out for. And then Ethiopia always fields a really strong contingent behind Sagai with Medina Isa and Ejiktahu Tay. So it's just going to be a great battle. Sifan Hassan in this one. It's just a classic that we've seen over the last couple years.
Yeah, I hope Sifan, just because Sifan is such an entertaining racer, I hope she's got enough speed in her legs to kind of compete with the front of that field. But it's going to be an absolute battle. Do you think like Faith isn't running away with this one?
No, because I think like Gudaf Sagai is like definitely going to be pretty strong in this one. We haven't seen the two of them clash since last year.
Which
and
was
I
an
like that,
amazing race.
And I love that. Yeah.
So is the 5K's first?
I think it's
Yeah.
on day 2,
Mm-hmm.
like the morning of day 2.
So we're going to
is
get both of
qualifying.
them fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running the 5K.
And that's 2 rounds, I believe.
Have we seen, I should know this, have we seen Faith run a 5K this year?
Faith, at the Kenyan National Championship, she
But
ran
just
at
the-
altitude, and that's it.
Okay, so
And it was
not
good.
far off. I didn't think we'd
she's
really
on-
seen her
yeah.
run one.
Has
So
been
I
running
guess
since
that if there's any sort of question to ask is, how is her strength? We've seen her run the shorter distances, and she's coming back strong there. But how is her 5K strength?
Yeah,
Has she
you
had
have
enough
to
time
assume
to
that
build
she'll
an
be
aerobic
good. I mean,
capacity?
she just ran the 1500 world record.
Oh, I think
That-
she's the favorite.
Yeah.
But as the guy has been healthy and running, has had a longer pace.
But she lost at the pre-classic, so there is a little bit of vulnerability there with Gudaf Sagai. So that's what makes this one, I think, fairly not even. Actually, I would put this pretty even.
I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a fun battle.
Yeah, like Max said, I really hope that Sifan's in it.
And I don't know if, as I'm getting up, I don't know if Sifan has enough juice to run with those first two.
Well,
especially if you've been marathon training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but also wasn't she considering doing the 15?
Yeah.
So
But then she got her doors blown off at like a meet in
Yeah,
Oxy
yeah.
and ran 4:04. She has
I guess-
run at Portland Track Festival. Nothing earth-shattering from Sifan Hassan in the 5K.
Yeah.
I just don't see her winning gold. Like,
no,
or-
I think like a gold is a tall order. I'm just like thinking about her, her Olympics, right?
yeah. So this is the
that
first
triple.
Yeah.
And how unbelievable it would be if she could do well in all 3 of those events.
Yeah.
The
Zatopek triple
Like, that's-
gold is
that's-
not going to happen.
No.
No.
Like triple gold is a pretty like. I was thinking just medaling in all of those events would be
wild.
insane. I think like, what do you think her best shot? Like what like is the 10 her probably best medal like opportunity? Is the marathon her best medal opportunity? Like I think the 5K is probably the hardest medal I think the 5K will be the hardest race.
Yeah. I think
even
as
though
it got
even
shorter.
though she's the freshest, I think the shorter races, I think when you've got Kipyegon, Sagai, I think that to get to come third behind them, beating out the other amazing women in that field, is a tall ask. Then to do the 10 in the marathon behind that, I just don't know if necessarily like the 5 is her strongest event. she was the former 1500 world record holder. Like she's unbelievably talented in all the events. But it's so hard to say because like when we just like you don't see people do this. This schedule
It's pretty
at
cool.
all.
I have a lot of
So
respect.
cool.
Oh,
It's
She's the
amazing.
first woman to ever do this triple.
It's so
Yeah.
awesome. Like,
There's been,
regardless
like-
of how she
yeah.
even does, like doing this is
Crazy.
and
Completing it would be
so
amazing.
so fun to watch. So fun to even like talk about. Like it would be amazing to see if she can actually medal it.
She's
in
one of the
these
best
events.
interviews on the circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she was
Like
a quote
engaging,
machine even today.
Yeah, she's
Wise.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I trained with Sifan for a while. Like she's a great part. Like the great, super nice part. Like everyone loves her on the circuit.
Yeah.
She's like so nice. Everyone loves her. Like her workouts are unbelievable. She brings like a complete different level of intensity to training.
Like intensity in terms of the volume of the workout, or intensity in terms of the way that she approaches the workout.
No, like the quality of her work. Like
Yeah.
she's late. Like she's everyone brings it. Like you get to the high level and like everyone's bringing like a level of intensity to it. But like so it's not like her. Obviously, she's got a great mindset. You have like to do what she's doing. You've got to have a different mindset. I just mean like you look at her numbers on paper,
Crazy.
or she's just so fast.
Yeah.
And just does unbelievable work. So I think the 5 though, she's got her hands full for sure to get that medal.
Pretty cool. When's the last race that she's had?
Last day.
No. When's the last time she
sorry.
raced
Yeah.
before this? Well, it's interesting, and this is what added more question marks. She was supposed to race at the FBK games in Hengelo. It was a 10K, and then she was going to double back for the 1500. The 10K, she gets to the track. She's like, it's too windy. Bailed. So didn't run the
Love
10K.
that.
She hasn't run a 10K so far
That's
this
strange.
season.
Her and Grant Holloway
And then
flipped the track.
the 1500 didn't go that hot, which is, I guess, like the signs were there that that wasn't the event for her. Pre-classic, when she ran in the 5K, she was like 6, but it was like 14:30 something, and she didn't make a big deal about the time. She was just like, you know what? In the last couple laps, I felt great, and that's a good sign that it's like, oh, she's getting better the longer the distance goes.
Yeah.
So I look to her as her best medal shot on the track will be the 10K, and then the marathon is just like a crazy. We don't know what to expect in that one because of how weird that.
I'm
course is
so
gonna be.
excited to
for
watch
that,
her race
yeah.
because she's going to put herself in it
Yeah.
regardless. Like Sifan will be mixing it up in the medals. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know,
her
in
goal
what
I
distance
assume
up.
is your medal is she wants to medal in
Yeah,
all.
so she's going to be fighting for
She's gonna be
spots.
fighting for the spot.
At 3K to go in the 5K, 2K to go, 1K to go. She's going to be fighting for spots.
Yeah.
Same thing in the 10. And then that marathon, if she runs it, which I'm expecting her to,
Yeah.
I can't wait for whatever like the theatrics are going up that hill.
It's
It's going to be amazing.
Her marathon will be such a spectacle, I think. Such a spectacle. Because wasn't it London? She stretched twice.
Yeah, she
she's
stopped to
right.
stretch.
Strong.
And then
In
just
Tokyo-
still dropped them.
In Tokyo, she finished 4th in 2:18, but she stopped and turned around to go get a water bottle that she missed, and then like couldn't after that restart couldn't catch up to the lead pack and
You know how
exerted a lot of
crazy that
energy.
is? to
Nordis
just,
was like,
be
I think
in
I could
that-
bring this to the 15.
Yeah.
Let me
What,
lay down on the ground
Yeah,
and
he's
stop.
like, hey, you think that was cool? I'm
Watch
gonna
me lay
lie
down, lie
yeah,
down on the
and I'm
ground.
gonna run 3:49.
No, but pretty incredible.
I really feel like and I haven't probably like obviously I follow the headlines of Sifan because it's always amazing, and then like you see these things like I'm gonna go for 4 races, and the crazy thing in your head is like, man, that's so wild, but like maybe she could do it. Like you see another athlete say that, it's like shut the fuck up, like, you can't do that. But then you see her do it, it's like wow, she might do it. But her marathon to me is going to be so party because she'll be at the end, last day of competition. She will have got through hopefully both the rounds of the 5 and that 10K final. And then it'll just be a conversation for her where she'll just probably go, I'm just going to throw everything at this marathon and I'm going to cause as much chaos as humanly possible for these fresh-legged
It'll be special.
women around me. And I think she'll really
Let's say
miss
she
some
does
heads.
let's say she does go into the marathon with 2 medals. Like,
Oh my
that
God.
would be it.
That
like,
would be
that's gonna make the
insane.
I'm
marathon
also-
so exciting. to
I'm
watch.
already imagining like Helen and her racing. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
throwing
Helen
down.
Obiri is the one
Yeah.
who I'm looking at as like the woman to beat in this race. She's got the cross country prowess. She's coming off of wins in Boston and New York. This is apt. We can check the box on our marathon preview in a sense here because Helen Obiri has all the makings of an athlete who could thrive on this course. It's going to chew up and spit out just like the people who are just rhythm racers and time trialers.
Valencia runners.
Valencia runners are about to get exposed here.
Back end of year,
Team-
Valencia
like,
legend.
It's true that I look at Tigges Assef's 2:11 personal best and world record means nothing on a course like this.
Yeah.
I don't even think she sniffs the medals.
Wow.
I mean, she
A
could
good
prove me
take.
wrong.
I like that.
I
take.
like that a lot.
Jesus.
I like that. take.
Kipchoge, I think Boston spooked him.
Yeah.
And like that's
Oh,
why he
yes.
didn't return
You're
to
on a hater
Boston.
right now.
Is not running New York
God.
City.
I'm liking it.
That I
Justice for my boy
Trashing
Benson.
Kipchoge?
Yeah.
I think,
Justice for my boy Benson Kipruto.
Yeah. I like. I've been saying this for months. I love Cam Levins's odds on a course like this.
That's a crazy.
Wow.
That's a crazier take than
yeah,
what you
yeah.
had said previously.
Yeah, it's one thing to hate Kipchoge. It's
Yeah,
another
sure.
to say.
I'm not hating Kipchoge. I'm just being a
It's
little
one
more
thing to
realistic.
say-
I know for a stats guy, you're talking down a lot on the greatest of all time.
It's
But
just
I
he
agree.
can't-
I like that
can't
you've read the course rather than the time. Like you're basing off what they're actually going to face, not what they've done.
Yeah.
So people are going to struggle.
Oh no, I like that.
Yeah.
Like
Dathan Ritzenheim told Let's Run he doesn't think that the women are going to break 8 minutes on the hill at mile 18.
what?
Yeah,
It's
it's 13 grade. So if for
We
got to
go run that.
Yeah.
13
We should
That'd
get
be a
out.
funny
13.5.
live stream. We all try and break 8.
Who can get up the
13.5
hill the quickest?
13.5 on the treadmill. Like if treadmills can even go that slope, that is the
I want to see
degree
this hill.
of difficult. We should
We
take a
should
trip
go
out
out
there.
We should go
and
out
try and
there
run it.
Yeah, I
check
mean
out.
you've got to
You- but
run
you're
it
running
anyway.
it.
We
You're
should, we
running
should
I
it.
will be
go.
running. That's where I'm busting
See
out the
if you
hiking
can
poles.
participating.
yeah, yeah.
What do you run
He's
for the hill?
missing. He's missing.
The
is it
women's
the women's
1500 final
15
for
to run
this.
that hill.
Crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
So we should go do a course preview and run that mile. I think it'd be hilarious
I
footage.
see who can get up there.
See if
first.
anyone can break
Hey,
8 minutes.
I'm nowhere near it.
That'd be-
But I'll try my absolute best. But
All right, we're gonna give this a try.
yeah,
We-
we should try it.
Maybe tomorrow morning we go and do this.
Tomorrow morning.
Well, I'm at
Tomorrow morning.
I'm at the walk.
Oh, let's.
I was thinking like at some
Yeah.
point.
All
like,
No,
Eric and
I got. I gotta
I
drink.
haven't slept in 2 days.
I gotta drink some water and get to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay.
Eat a
Now.
banana.
All right, so that was 5K. Check the box. Marathon. Check the box. Men's 5K.
Yeah, men's 5K.
Jakob.
He's
I mean,
back.
Jakob is the best. Like, he loves the 15, right? Talks a lot about the 15. It's like he thinks it's the coolest event. It's the hardest event. He's so clearly a 5K, 10K. Like, no one has made winning world championship 5Ks look easier. I think he should do the 10. Like, at some point, he's got to do
the
the
Sifan.
10K because, pull a Sifan. Like, the way he runs the 5K just looks it's so easy. I think this will be, because the 5K this year is stacked. Gebruet is like a world record holder almost. What, you're in 12:36? What, like he was just barely off the world
Yeah.
record, right?
Yep.
Like Yomif Kajelcha, like he was another 12:30 guy, right?
Yep.
I
Like
love.
just a few seconds back. But I still think even with these guys, Jakob is a clear favorite in this race.
I think that this is one of the more entertaining races of the entire athletics
Yeah.
portion of the Olympics because everyone at the front, minus Jakob, they like throwing moves on each other.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be like, oh, one person's going to lead, everyone's going to follow, and then we're going to find out who has it over the last lap. They're going to be like, no, I'm going to lead now.
Yeah.
And then they're going to slow it down. There's going to
It's
be
the
a
most
lot of
bizarre-
yo-yoing.
It's the
There's
most
going to be a
bizarre
lot of
race
tactics.
ever.
And it's going to be a lot of race tactics running really quickly.
Like Cheptegei, like
Gebruet,
Gebruet.
Chalimo, Grant Fisher,
Grijalva.
Grijalva. I mean, like
Yeah, love some
so
Louis.
many guys.
Love some Louis.
It's gonna be insanely stacked. Obviously we're talking like as like an American, we're talking about like can this be the year Grant Fisher gets it done in a medal? Do you think his best odds of getting a medal are in the 5 or the 10? I think probably the 10. I think the 5.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think the 5 is just so stacked. Like, how do you? And I just don't think he's necessarily got the foot speed of. I mean, he doesn't have it of Jakob, of a Gebruet.
London showed that.
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
3K,
yeah.
where he
I mean, he
couldn't
ran an
beat
incredibly
Dominic
good race.
Lobalu, yeah.
He
He
did
ran
say
what
that too.
7:27, and he still closed incredibly well. I just
25
think
for the
that-
final 2,
Yeah,
I think.
25, really. Yeah. So it's like he's got the speed, but like, does he have enough speed to medal in the 5K?
I also just don't think the race is going to be run in a way that's conducive to his style. He likes kind of a static
Good
pace.
He's not going to be able to pull.
I think that this one is going to be like they're going to gap him,
Yeah.
and then he's going to close the gap, and then they're going to gap him, and I think it's going to be a lot of yo-yoing up front.
The Africans tend to really, like you said, like they switch leads. They don't let it get into too much of a rhythm. You could see the Ugandans pulling for a while, and then the Ethiopians take over, and then at some point Jakob's just obviously going to say enough's enough, and
600 he's going to be like, let's go, we're going.
600 it goes. I think they know that Jakob is the guy. Like, what is their strategy going to be to beat Jakob? Like, because we can't. I don't think he's going to have. He already have had the 15 under his legs.
And can they work together enough to get away from him necessarily?
Yeah,
because if they're often fast enough to get into that like oh no zone of fitness.
Yeah,
where you have to like question, is your fitness good enough, but also you have to have enough yourself to be able to kick.
And often like the team tactics, because you saw this all the time when it was the same thing with Mo Farah. When they're saying, how do we beat Mo? It's going to require team tactics. And a lot of the times when you're saying it requires the team tactics, it means that there's a guy that kind of is the sacrificial lamb.
The Ugandans have tried it.
A guy, yeah, they've tried it. It's just when you are as well-rounded as a Jakob, when you can run faster 15s than everybody, and you are just an aerobic monster, like you can't do enough unless it is. And it's never that fast. It's
right.
never 12:40 race.
When it gets hard is when the like let's work together falls apart.
Yes.
And generally when you need the most help of your teammates, that's when it's not there. Yeah. And that's when the race slows down, and that's where the guys with the better kicks.
It's the accordion.
The accordion, and then it comes right back on. It's like, okay, well, what was all that work for the first 2.5K? Yeah. And now we're back at square one.
It goes right out the window. Yeah, right. Because it's like it's the guy who's been pulling, doing all the work, is thinking, all right, now it's getting really hard. And then I don't want to
well, what about me?
It's like, no, someone else come out and do the hard work. And they're like, no.
It's funny because on the backside of this, it's so funny on the backside of this too, because all these guys have different agents and like different coaches, and they're in different camps, and like everyone is working to a degree pretty selfishly.
Yes.
And no one wants to be the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Like you're not guaranteed anything for next year, let alone the next Olympic cycle. Like you're here at the Olympic, and we're talking about the Olympic final. Like you want yours too.
Well,
and everyone has their own right to want that too.
If you are the guy that's good enough to run the legs out of the top guys, then you are good enough to be in the medal contention. Yeah. So you don't want to be the one pulling. But interesting, like you see a guy like Yomif he often does find himself at the front pulling. Yeah. Like he seems to. It's interesting because Yomif has some of the most bizarre last 400 tactics when it comes to world championships finals. It's just like, okay, I'm going to move at maybe the worst time possible in like lane 2. There's like
around a turn.
There's so many races where he's got the medal, he's got a win in him, and he just has a tactically bad last 400, 600 meters. He does find it you could definitely see him making it a very hard race and just hoping that he's got enough in it to run the legs out of these guys and get a medal for himself. But it's such an exciting race. There's so many guys in there that can get that medal, but I just don't see anybody like really beating Jakob.
Yeah. All right, moving on over women's 10K we kind of touched on already, but it is Beatrice Chebet as the heavy favorite, having run 28:54 to become the first woman to break 29 minutes.
That is so quick.
She'll have Sifan Hassan. That is, I think, like the good matchup there is Sifan Hassan versus Beatrice Chebet.
28.
But Chebet is so fast.
A new stratosphere.
Beyond that, it's like
I think this is the most like shoe-in distance event.
It could be, yeah. The Ethiopian trio, Foyen Tesfaye, Sigi Gebersalama, and Ayandis Membratu could be in the mix for the medals behind gold. What is how do you measure success for the Americans in this one? Wayne Colati, Parker Valby, and Carissa Schweizer. It's like it's hard.
Top
10, right? And
Yeah.
avoid getting lapped.
No, I don't think anyone's gonna get. Well, if
Well,
someone has a bad
if
day,
it-
they
if
might
it's
get
quick,
lapped.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I think the elimination of scratch it.
no
I
one's
guess.
thinking I'm not gonna get lapped. They're not thinking.
No.
They're not thinking.
But
that,
since I'm looking at our preview
good day
online,
not getting laughed.
I'm looking at
Feel
our
good.
preview online right now, and this factors out Gudov Sagai, who's back in actually. So it could be Chebet did crush Sagai at
yeah,
Prix.
Chebet. I think this is
Chebet's a
runner
heavy
for
favorite
sure.
in this one.
For the Americans, I think a top 10
Yeah.
is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Like an 8th would be, I think, great for a lot.
Yeah.
For any of them.
I could see it being.
Who do you think's the first of the three?
Well, I could just see it being similar in like the trials where, or actually not that's because this was the race that Valby kind of switched up tactics and ran a little bit more conservatively and then kind of kicked, but I expect the Americans to be kind of packed up and running together, like working to not necessarily like working together, but just kind of like
In the same zone.
in the same zone, like using each other to kind of like gauge their efforts. I think
Carissa's coming back from the 5K.
Yeah.
And Wayne will just be doing the 10. And
Valby's just doing the
Valby's
10.
just
Valby's just
10,
doing the
yeah.
10. So I think if Carissa were just doing the 10, I think that would maybe be our best chances. I don't know. I don't know. She's on such an upswing right now. We've seen her peak. Wayne, I think we were all looking for her to do a little bit more at trials. I think that we all thought that she was going to beat everybody else
Yeah.
handily, and she didn't do that. So I think you have to be kind of honest about that performance, and that's what we have to gauge off of. On Wayne's best day, I think we're also looking at like a 7th, 8th, 9th place, but trials has me a little bit worried that like Carissa is on that upswing, and Wayne has kind of done.
I think
a
Carissa's
bit of a
definitely on the
plateau.
upswing. I think she looks. I mean, just from what you saw at trials, I think she looked great. I think Parker, she just runs really well when she just is good at. She like we were like saying with like Stewie McSwain, like she is someone that is always down to run hard. With this race, it's going to be a very hard effort. Like you're not going to be. You might be in no man's land, and it's very hard to run hard when it's just kind of you pacing against yourself. Parker's very good at that.
Yep.
It's
going to be hot and humid.
It's going to be hot and humid.
Gainesville.
She's good at that. She's used to that. Just like getting exposure at this top level, like because is this her first
Senior national team.
It's their first senior national team, but has she done diamond leagues before that? Like,
No.
This is her first international race.
Yeah.
That's wild. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people do a diamond league or two,
At least-
or
or
go
go to
Leuven
Yeah, they're
and
at
do the
Conti or
huge and
something.
do some sort of like Euro
She was
circuit.
training in Leuven.
Do
I
the
guess, the past couple
circus.
days.
Yeah.
Do the circus, yeah. Run with everyone blowing cigarette smoke directly into your face for a while. Pay your dues. No, so it's interesting. Like, not a lot of people get their international debut at an Olympic final. So
Kind of wild.
it's
yeah.
incredibly wild, and it just goes to show the amount of success that she's had this year. So just using that and kind of stacking up race experience, because she is really young, and if you do want to have a long career where she's not going to be in the medal contention this year, but if she wants to be at some point, she's just going to need to cut her teeth the hard way and just kind of go in there and say, you know what, this isn't an NCAA race. I'm not going to, my expectations aren't going for a first, or they're not going here's what's a successful race for me. Go out and execute that on the day.
There was a story, I think it was from the Tampa Bay Times or something like that, where Parker Valby went to Whole Foods and someone at the cashier register recognized her and was like, "Go bring home the gold for us." And she was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna bring home the
That's
gold.
what you gotta
I'm
love
just
about
happy to be
that's,
here."
that's like the classic like running
Yeah.
like fan. Like,
Go
oh yeah,
get it. It's yours
if you don't
to
bring home the
take. Yeah.
gold, you're a loser.
It's
like, yeah, I
oh,
know.
You haven't seen this chick run 28:54.
Like it was
That's
awesome
gonna
that I
be-
even made it here.
Yeah.
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 This is
It's
a
a good-
success in and of itself.
It's great that you're realistic about it, like right
Yeah.
away.
To
Oh,
my
yeah.
point, these are the people I'm talking about. They don't care who the fastest person alive is.
Exactly.
They don't care. They're asking, "Hey Parker, bring home the gold in the women's 10K." They don't care.
All right. men's 10K, Joshua Cheptegei is your reigning Olympic champion in this one. No, is it Salomon Barega? I think I always forget that.
Is he in the
Cheptegei-
5?
Yeah, this
Brega's
one's
in the 5.
yeah.
I mean, Brega is so like I haven't even mentioned him yet.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like the Ethiopian
Brega-
team.
Brega's in the 10. It looks like
Ethiopia
Doubling.
is just an like it's so unbelievable in the distance events. Like Barega is what has Barega done recently? Has he been racing this outdoor
He
season?
ran
Like,
an LA Grand Prix, nothing electric this
No.
year. That's what's a little weird about him.
Yeah, so I don't know if we
Yeah,
can.
I guess
I don't
it-
think he's not in the shape that
He's not
we
fully healthy.
remember him.
yeah, I mean
of
he's
a
still
couple years
like
ago.
obviously dangerous. No matter like if you see Salomon Brega on the line,
Yeah.
he's absolutely dangerous. Cheptegei is just so experienced in this event and runs really well, time and time again.
Oh wait, Salomon Barega ran 26:34 for 10K at
this
the
year,
Ethiopian trials
Okay,
on
so-
June 14th.
he's
decent
fit.
at altitude. Was
No,
it
no, it was in
of
the
sight.
Netherlands.
at
or something like that.
15,000
Yeah.
feet?
And he ran
Yeah.
12:51
top of
at
a
the LA
fucking
Grand Prix
mountain.
and won that.
Yeah,
So he's good.
All right.
So he's
okay,
fit.
so let's go back. He's fit.
he's fit.
Yeah, he could do quite well.
yeah,
This could be a great day for him.
yeah.
Could be a really
Um,
dangerous time to see him on the line.
That dude is just built for the 10K.
He
You
is.
see that dude, like that guy is ready to run a 10K. But Cheptegei is unbelievable in the 10.
Best kits out there also.
The Uganda kits are
so
always
nice.
so sick.
So nice.
His team, Cheptegei's teammate.
Oscar
Oh.
Chalimo.
No, I'm blanking on his name.
But he's always
But he always like
Didn't he win
either
World
wins or
Cross?
beats him. Yeah, one world
Oh,
cross.
Jacob
Kip-
Kiplimo.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kiplimo. Kiplimo, like
Thanks,
what's
Justin.
he done? He's grown a beard, and I think recently, which is
Trying
like, I mean,
Which
like,
means he's ready to fucking
that's either a
rip.
good thing or a
Yeah.
bad thing.
Yeah.
It means he's ready
Yeah,
to
he's
rip.
in it.
he's in it with a beard. I
Oh,
hope.
well,
But he
So
hasn't ran a
it's-
10K so far this year.
There's
Doesn't
No, he's
matter.
been busy.
There's a
Yeah,
medal.
he's growing a
Busy
beard.
growing
Take time.
beard. Yeah,
He won
He
World
won
Cross.
World
yeah.
he won
Cross.
Yeah,
world
he won
cross.
World
Did
Cross.
he have the
Thank you.
beard then?
Don't think so.
I
He was
think it was in
clean.
its infancy.
It was-
That's when
yeah.
it started after
Yeah.
that. He went,
That's-
"I'm gonna
that's when
grow
he
the
was like,
beard."
Okay,
maybe
Yeah.
it
so
could
if he
be.
shows
He's
up
like,
the line
okay.
with a clean shaven,
You're concerned.
I don't
no,
know,
no,
no,
I
no,
think
no,
he's.
no.
I think he's. I'm going the
He's
other
locked
way.
the fuck in.
He's locked the
He's
fuck.
going-
Growing
in.
his training beard, and
Piss it
shit
in.
hair, and now
Yeah.
he's got a haircut and he's clean.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Barega, if Barega walks up to the line, he sees Kiplimo, full beard. He goes, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Oh my
he's
God.
gone.
Oh
Where
my
is
He's
God.
done. Cool, guys.
He's looking at the other.
He
He's
looks
looking at the other
awful.
EBW. He goes, "We got to figure out a new strategy." Kiplimo's got a full beard. He looks handsome as hell. I think we might have our hands full today. Even Cheptegei's gonna be like, Jesus.
I told you to shave it off.
You told me you're gonna
Come on, you
shave.
said you were gonna shave.
He's like,
He's
no, my
he
friend.
even comes. What if he does shave? He's just got like
Got a
the Top
goatee?
Gun mustache. No, he's like he's got.
The Miles
He's
Teller.
like, yeah, he's like Miles Teller's got a good look. I think I might go for that.
I quite like that. That was a great movie. I'm gonna do that.
He's like,
That'd
this
be
actually-
awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, if Grant Fisher sees
Yeah,
him
if
with
he's
the,
got a beard.
yeah,
Then well, I don't know what to think about that.
Grant would look good with a
So
beard.
you think
I don't think he
Grant's
can grow.
better?
You don't think? Oh, I don't think.
better
He,
shit.
oh,
No, I think he looked good with a beard.
no, he would look good with a
No, I
beard.
think he
I
would
just
be
don't think
great
he can
with
grow
the beard. I
one.
don't think you could do it.
Look, this is coming from a guy who can't grow a beard. I wish I could. I'm just saying. I
So
know.
you spot another fellow
Yeah.
non-beard grower. You're like, he can't do that.
But gee, he should go
But
to
if he
Turkey.
did,
After
go to
this, he should
Turkey.
go to Turkey.
Yeah.
Get the beard implant. I actually might do that.
I
Now
think-
that I see
You know,
it.
I'm all the way out of here. Might as
That's
well.
a train ride away.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's close.
Quick
It's- I'd be a fool not to do it.
yeah. Why are you
Um,
here? Like,
why
you're not going
are
to
you
fly
here?
back.
Yeah, no. I
You
go,
might as well
go right
execute
here.
We
Yeah.
got him a one-way ticket.
Yeah. Eric, what you decide to do after this is up to you, man.
I live in Turkey. I live in Turkey, full beard, doing just fine.
Big Istanbul
Me
guy.
and Kip Limo.
Yeah. Turkey it's got a new name as well.
Yeah. But what were we talking about?
The 10K.
What the hell are we
10K.
talking about?
Uh,
So you think Grant's better opportunity is in this race,
Yeah,
in this
I do.
field, than what he has in the
Absolutely.
5?
absolutely.
I,
I
wish
think,
he was just running the 10,
Yeah.
just so we can know for sure.
Mm.
Well,
well, the 10's
the
first.
10's first.
So
the
I
other
think
way.
this
I'm
is-
stupid.
this is-
I'm sorry.
Ten's
his
the
best
first
event.
I'm
final.
sorry.
And I think
Hands up.
Yeah.
On me.
Hands up.
Hand up. That's
we
on
should,
me.
Sorry, we should make a very clear
Redact-
hand
sorry.
I
up,
think they just
hand up
yeah.
policy
Yeah.
for 10 days.
Redact.
It's
Yeah,
just
hand
this,
up
this
policy for 10
like
days.
this event
Hand
is
up.
just so suited for Grant, where it's you will see like there probably will be like a slight gap formed a bit earlier. Like, it's not going to come down to, it might come down to a last kick for like the medals, but like it will be strung out a bit. You could see it being pulled, like someone will pull from a bit farther out, maybe, with like 2K, 3, like whatever it is, like 2K to go. Someone takes lead and pulls. That's Grant's race. Yeah. I absolutely think he could medal in this. Especially, I mean, he did look fantastic in that London race. He ran 7:27, and got out kicked. But like I would assume he walks away from that feeling really good. And I think it probably sets him up really well. You could see, like, if it's really slow, you could even see him like taking the front, maybe not being like, oh, this is the defining move. But like, I'm at least going to hit the front so that the other guys pick it up, and maybe somebody else comes and takes it from me. But it's still my best opportunity to medal if it's picked up a bit, and I'm getting the guys that don't necessarily deserve to be in the medal contention out of this pack with a few laps to go. You could see him doing that. He always, regardless of whether he medals or not, he's going to be up there. He's just consistent. He's tactically always pretty sound, and like if he gets beat out, it's just because the other guys are so unbelievable, and he's not quite as fit as them. It's not from tactical errors.
Mm-hmm. All right, we can't forget about the steeplechase. I guess is another thing.
We can't. We kind of can.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we can't.
I did.
All right. Women's steeplechase. This is one that I don't know. Like it.
I mean, women's steeple was one of the best, right? Like. At the trials.
Yeah.
Which makes it a more interesting race for us. It's just sort of like, for me, like some of the women running 8:50, 8:55, it's been hard to get excited about. Winfred Yavi of Bahrain ran 8:50.66. Olympic champion Perth Chemutai of Uganda beat Beatrice Chebet in China earlier this year. And people have been kind of going back and forth. I think what I really like is Val Constein potentially mixing things up. And if running 9:03 would get you a medal at any previous Olympic steeplechase. So she has every right to have the thought of, like, I could potentially medal at a race like this, at a meet like this.
I guess if we're looking at, like, okay, can all of our U.S. athletes, like, just do what they did again? And like maybe a little bit more at the Olympic stage, that puts him around 9 flat-ish. Like,
yeah.
And this is what we're talking hypothetical.
I mean, Courtney Frerichs is the Olympic silver medalist. She made this race 3 years ago by being the one aggressively at the front, taking it out.
Right. But I don't think people's PBs were what they are now.
There were still a couple.
But that being said, like, we should be hopeful that there is a chance for some medals here for the Americans.
Yeah.
There is absolutely a shot, especially at what we saw at the trials. Like, it's certainly within all their legs to run something that's 9 flat-ish. That's certainly in the cards, and I think that could get a medal. I don't know. I don't know how fast the race is going to go.
Yeah.
I haven't paid attention to enough of these to give, like, maybe best of a take that it's going to be an 8:50 race.
Race, then sure, yeah, Val Constein has a medal chance if training's been going great. She has another one who hasn't raced since the trials. She dealt with COVID immediely after the trials.
Don't love that.
I don't love that, but back at doing workouts and stuff.
That's what? You got COVID, right?
Right after the trials.
Yeah, no, that sucks. That's really bad.
Ideal.
But there's been enough time that I think that if she's coming in a little bit more fit, she has every right to think that, hey, I could knock on the door of 9 flat, break it potentially, give the American record a scare, and hopefully come away with the medal in this one.
For sure, it's just so tough to
just put it out there, like,
to just be like, oh yeah, if she runs
runs
the race of her life and breaks the American record, she's got a shot at a medal. Of course.
Yeah.
Right? Of course. It's just tough, like, to do that on the day in an Olympic final in the biggest race of your career, after you've had COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The COVID is not ideal. That knocks you about for a while.
Well, I assume if she, like, released it, that she had, like, it was a pretty rough COVID.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that bad. I guess I podcasted with her and she told me the whole thing, and then she was like, "I'm back to workouts." I was like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like
Well,
Still not ideal.
she
It's
felt,
only doing
she
Olympic
felt, she
final.
felt
Good.
really sick and
Yeah.
got tested.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like shit. And
Yeah, you don't just like have a little thing. And you're like, I'm gonna test.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
she
"Oh, I'm
felt really
sweating.
bad.
I'm
She-
sweating, and it's
Yeah,
It
5
hurts.
degrees.
I haven't
yeah.
tasted a meal in a few days,
Yeah.
and
Can't smell anything.
I'm really sick. I'll
That's
get
not
that.
normal.
It could help if you don't like not smelling the cigarette smoke.
Yeah,
Out here.
Yeah,
Beneficial.
yeah.
I mean, it's not again, it's not Leuven. It's not the Houston Circus race.
Yeah.
Like that would be, I guess, the perfect time to have COVID and race. Anyway,
All right.
like yeah, she would need to have a perfect day. Not, I guess it's not like she needs to have a perfect day. It's just gonna take a really fast effort to medal, which she can do, and like Courtney Wayman can do. Like it's all in there. If the race is set up where the Africans take it out really hard and it's just okay, here we need to hang on as best we can. We need to not make errors. We need to not go down, and maybe one of us can get a medal. Then that would be fantastic. I guess that would be like the best game plan to get a medal. But who knows? And it, again, like you have to make it through the finals to make it through to the finals to be in that opportunity. So we'll see.
Men's steeplechase, big question marks around Morocco's Soufiane El Bakkali, the reigning Olympic champ, who also won gold medals at the 2022 and 2023 World Championships, but he's raced only once. He was wearing a bunch of KT tape.
Never a good
during
sign.
that
Not a
one.
good
Don't
sign.
wanna see
Unless
that.
you're sponsored, not a good sign.
And then
One of the worst signs.
yeah,
One of the worst things to
Lemaitre
do, unless it's
also
speed tape.
only steepled once so far this year. So
And it's electric.
I think this race is pretty wide open. Where if you're George Beamish, like you're also thinking of a medal. He was closer than people thought last year because it was his first year experimenting with the steeple, and you've gotten the chance, Mitch, to see him on the circuit a couple times.
Yeah, we've chopped it up for a bit. I think it's that Australian-New Zealand connection. But no, I think he should, and I think he does think he's every possibility to get a medal. For him, from his own words, it's the way that he positions himself in these races that's going to determine whether or not he's a medal shot. Because he always has a kick. It's like fabled now, like, oh my God, Beamish is going to kick at some point. But it's whether you're kicking from 50 meters back or you're kicking from 15 meters back, or if you're kicking off the shoulder, right? So I think his big thing is if he can position himself well enough in that closing K to give himself every opportunity to have that closing kick, a medal is absolutely well within his grasp. It's just a matter of positioning and like the steeplechase is so hard tactically because not only are you worried about the guys around you, you're also worried about jumping cleanly, getting out of that water pit with one good step, all these sort of things that you have to be keeping in mind. So yeah, I think given the race is a little bit more open and George has run like 8:09 now. I think he ran in his last steeple in Paris. So did that also off being sick. And a few little niggles here and there. I would love to see him medal. I think he can medal too. It's just going to be that final K positioning.
Yeah, and I was talking about that, like how vulnerable it is to put yourself out there on that edge, and like the steeple just,
Increases that.
that
Yeah.
twofold by far, because there's a chance that you hurt yourself. Like
Yeah.
you can really hurt yourself, or fall or whatnot, and you could make like a fourth place to sixth place really quickly in that event.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think all of us have, we're all rooting for Jordy to like get himself up there in the top of the pack, and maybe we don't need the fastest 200 final 200 out of the field.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to be up there
Just
with
be
the
there.
leaders.
Yeah, just be there. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
I
like,
think it's so
you just
tough.
got to be there.
Because he had like in terms of experience,
Mm.
like he just he's run fast,
And he's
but he
world,
hasn't run a lot.
and he's world
World
indoor
champion.
World
indoor
indoor
champ
champion in
now,
the-
so
in
he
the
has
15,
so
yeah.
he has that sort of
Yeah,
he's got
but
that
it's
behind
just
him
like
now.
the steeple is just such a different event than the flat races. And if El Bakkali is healthy, I mean, he's gonna be so tough to beat.
Yeah.
Like
Think about how many fewer barriers Jordy's jumped over his career than probably
All the
anyone
other guys
else
have.
in this final.
100%.
Wild.
Yeah, it's
the
what
transition he's made.
of course, yeah. Like Bakkali is just so good, and has done so well at these big races. Like if he is healthy and not KT taped up, it'd be tough to see him not in first, maybe second if Germa.
Yeah.
Like because Germa's like what 724 flat 3K guy. Like it's just disgusting. I mean, so it like you see that, and if you're Jordy, you think, all right, I need to be close. He has the trademark kick, which makes makes him a favorite. People love watching that. It's so much fun to watch a guy like no matter how far back he is, he's going to have the strongest close of the field. That's fun to watch. People love seeing that. But is he going to be close enough?
But how much more fun would it be if he's in the top 3 doing that same
And then
kick
kicks.
and not the same kick, but kicking with the leader?
Yeah.
Because it's the same. It's a similar thing.
Yeah.
It's just not as fast, but you're with the leaders.
That's
But
the-
it's
and-
terrifying to get yourself into that spot.
I think that's something as well to talk on like mindset and stuff that George has to his advantage that I actually don't think he gives really too much of a care as to who's around him. I don't think he's overawed by time or by athlete or by anything. I think he's just a dude who's just like, all right, I'm going to put myself in every opportunity, every position. And if you're near me, I'm going to do everything I can to burn you. So to your point, if he's there, that'd be so sick. Like final 400 meters, the bell goes and it's like a group of 4 and Geordie's in there. I would be thinking, this guy's getting a medal. He's not going to be 4. He's going to get a medal.
And knowing that like Bakali isn't necessarily one as strong as he's been in years past. It's like, look, like be up there with him. Like, he's not going to just run away from you. You're an 809 guy and you're faster than that. Like no one should be running away from you. Don't let these gaps form. And if you don't let gaps form, like what's to say, like it's up to you how high you place.
Yeah.
Don't let the gaps form. Don't let the race get away from you and then rely on this superhero kick to bring you back to medal position. Like you are fast enough, deserve to be up there and just race like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a great race. It'll be interesting to see how El Bakali is feeling because he'd be probably not the worst guy if he is like healthy but not fully healthy for someone like Geordie to shadow for a while because he's obviously a master tactician when it comes to the steepling. Like he's never a guy that's so far out in front early that you're pegging him down. Like he's usually picking off people and then starts to move at like 800 to go. So if he can benefit off that and be like, all right, you're vulnerable, but you're obviously still healthy enough and fit enough to be able to run quick, could be the perfect guy for him to base his race off. But the Africans have had just such a dominant, what would you even trace it back to? Like 20 years or whatever in steepling. So it'll be really interesting to see if he can do like an Evan Jaeger from years ago to just rock in there and disrupt it all. I don't know what your guys' optimism is with the Americans. Not quite at the same level I would think that we would all share with Geordie, but they could make it through to the final. And
you hope
I think we'll get a couple guys into the
Rooks
final.
will make I do think like Rooks runs very well off. I think absolutely he'll be in the final, and I still think like you can't. I don't think this is going to necessarily be like a sub 8, like incredibly fast last final. I don't think it's going to be. I think it'll probably be Bakali leading it, and just kind of pulling from the front, but not that quick. I think that is a race that would bode well for Rooks.
Absolutely.
I think Rooks has showed that he's really strong. If everything's gone well since the trials, I think he will be up there. Is he going to be like fighting for the medals? It would be. I think a top 5. I think
top 5 would be awesome.
top 5 would be
huge.
awesome.
Yeah.
But like I think that I think that's very well within his reach.
I like that. I like that 5 to 7 spot for him. I think that's
where was
certainly
he
doable.
last? Where did he finish last year at the World Champs? Rooks.
Who? Rooks?
Yeah. Was he around that top 8, like back end of the 8?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
a little further back.
So it's definitely in the conversation then. 5 to 7. It'll be a great race.
All right. Final event, men's marathon, August 10th in the morning. 20 years after, in this very city, 21 years, we had Kipchoge versus Bekele. Those two
That's pretty cool.
legends will be facing off in the marathon. Bekele's first Olympic Games since 2000 and
Wait, Kipchoge, and that was what event they were in
Will that be
the
like
World
a
Champs
5K?
2003.
and that was
That's
the
where Kipchoge was 19
5
years old and
and
won.
Garouge. What?
Yeah, he
right.
beat El
Yeah.
Garouge.
What a race! One of the
Wow, yeah.
one of the
Epic
best
race
races
to go back and watch.
It went Kipchoge, Guruj, Bekele, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
One of the
El
best
Guruj has
races,
been
yeah.
retired for
Long time.
10 plus years. I
Yeah.
feel like at this point, where
How
and
old
yet
is Bekele?
Guruj is just
Bekele
doing
is
a
40
routine
years
show.
old.
retired when he
43.
was
Wow.
yeah. Guru's retired super young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Guruj did
but-
one of the only like Guru, because this is a sport where you're usually not like you don't often ride off into the sunset.
No,
Yeah.
you
You
never
die
do.
on the sword.
You
Like
die getting beat by a high schooler.
You die after getting beat by Drew Hunter, and then you say, "I gotta call it." Nobody wins the Olympic gold medal and says that's it, right? Like the picture perfect that like Guruj got.
Yeah.
But I mean, also he won every single thing, and
Handily.
and the only
World
thing he just
record.
couldn't
Needed that
get
gold.
was that
Yeah,
gold
Olympic
medal
gold.
in the Olympics. But still, yeah, you can't like that's never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
The prize, like the incentives to come back, it's just there's too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, the marathon.
Yeah. Now
So
they're squaring
go
off in
back.
the marathon, and I personally think that like this should be Bekele's last race. Like,
Don't put that on him.
I know, but I'm just
Jeez,
thinking it's
bye.
like
Let him run as long as he wants to. He's running well.
he's running well. I guess like for someone, he's so rich. He owns tons of land in Ethiopia, has a lot of great business ventures, has the medals.
Yeah, but Chris, you can't put a price on competitiveness.
Yeah.
So
The
rich.
guy's a competitor and he loves it.
You can also put a price on more money.
And he's running
More
running
major
204.
marathons throwing money saying Bekele, come
exactly.
and run
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Sure thing.
He can run.
I could get
he can
another
go run
farm.
204 for a few
Yeah.
more years.
I could get another farm.
206.
Absolutely, I could take another
What if
farm.
he's like 80th in this race?
Don't
Wait,
care.
then he runs London
He
next
goes
year.
and runs Chicago.
He gets an entry.
Yeah.
He gets a entry
yeah.
fee, and then
The
See
funny
you in
thing
New
is, he
York.
could come in like 80th in this race, and then next year he's knocking on the door of the world.
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
runs
I mean,
201.
Like
he's,
he runs
okay.
by far the fastest marathon anyone in history's
sick.
ever done.
he's like, what do I have to do? Run
Yeah.
18 miles, and I still get my full appearance fee? Yeah, of course I'm running.
Yeah. What
He's like,
time's
I'm
the
already
race?
so
Yeah.
rich, like Chris said.
Where do I need to be?
Yeah.
Look, I've got enough farms.
Yeah.
It's just sort of
It's
like
actually
I think
ruining
about how
my
Usain
portfolio.
Bolt just hated the training
Yeah.
and training for a marathon constantly. I don't
He
know.
doesn't know any other way.
Yeah, that's
clearly.
his thing.
He loves this
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, that's his thing.
I guess these guys don't know how to say, "Hey,
Switch
all
off.
right, it's over."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a difference. That's like a different talk. That's like a therapist. Like, hey, like
Yeah.
yeah.
you got to find things you love like
Yeah.
outside of
If
it.
You
he
can
could
do
just
things
go to
outside of
therapy,
this.
Yeah.
he could retire.
Oh my
Oh,
god, he'd
yeah.
never run again.
I believe that Bekele has better medal odds than Kipchoge at this race
Oh my! It's I
Hot
love
takes
how
Chavez
you're-
over there. I like it.
because hey, I guess like it's
And you
just
said,
been-
and then,
No,
and
I
then
don't-
no,
I don't think that's
no,
his
but
being
I do
clouded
like how he's
by-
like he's got better odds than Kipchoge, the greatest marathoners ever lived. But this is also definitely be his last race.
yeah.
God
Here-
damn,
here's-
he's
here's it.
got to call it.
This hill is going to take out all like 36-plus-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like their
Yeah.
knees are
Joints
not
won't
going to be able to
handle it.
handle the
Won't
downhill.
handle
I'm like, honestly, I just don't have the dorsiflexion that my ankle mobility is shot.
I
I
love
don't
Benson
feel
Kipruto
good.
for this race.
I left that years ago.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Benson Kipruto also can't, like, he's got no knee lift.
He's the fastest marathon in the world so
He
far
doesn't.
this
No
year.
knee lift.
He's
That's gonna be
finished on the
hard on the
podium of 6
13%.
world marathon majors since 2021. That includes Boston. Even though like they say that this hill is like 6 heartbreak hills. Like that's how
hell.
crazy.
Shit.
So okay, so like I guess like
6 of
Connor
them?
Mance, Clayton Young, and Cam Levins.
I mean, I don't think it's crazy to think Connor Mance could do something wild in this one.
Do you
I do.
think
I
Cam
think
Levin's
that that's
medals?
crazy. Too.
I do think Cam Levins medals.
That would be so.
That would be awesome.
sick.
I would love
And then
that.
I hope his first thing is to respond to Ford Palmer on Twitter. Be like,
Okay,
"What?"
we're doing shoeies.
If
A
Cam,
Cam-
100%.
if
We're
Cam
doing
Levin's medals,
Cam Levins.
30
Yes,
minutes
dude.
straight of shoeies if Cam Levins medals.
Oh yeah, I'll
Absolutely,
drain a
dude.
sixer
Why do you guys think
immediately.
this is so crazy?
It
I
would
don't
be
think
crazy.
it's
No, no, it's
completely
all, no, no,
crazy.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
just so
very
your
cool.
confidence is crazy.
No, I don't think it's crazy. Yeah, I do think it's so awesome how
I don't
how
think it's just
bullish
a
you are on
completely
Cam
out of
Levins.
cards,
I
but
just
your
think I
confidence
just
is
love
crazy.
the storyline of Cam Levins coming back.
Mm.
Like his career has been sort like he went from like at Southern Utah
Southern
just
Utah
cleaning
State.
up like
triple threshold king.
unbelievable races, went pro, like his career like kind of went downhill, and then all of a sudden like he's like stuck with it. It's just it's honestly I find it incredibly inspiring. Like has just stayed with it putting in unbelievable amounts of work, mostly on his own, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
by himself,
Tripling.
like tripling. The dude, talk about a guy who loves this shit and doesn't know what to do with it besides this.
Yeah.
Like he has stayed with it, and like that's why I think it would be just so amazing if he could pull through and medal. He can't. What did he come in 4th or 5th at the last?
Yeah, I think
fifth
so.
at the last
At the 2022 World
2022 World Champs. That's it.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's not like he's obviously a guy that is placed really high, but still, it would be to come out and medal would be just. I mean, man, that'd
I
be
just
an
like giving you a hard
unbelievable
time saying Kipchoge, no shot.
Yeah,
Cam
yeah,
Levins
yeah.
getting a medal.
Put your
story.
money
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Yeah, I was big on him last year at was it Budapest?
No, he didn't go to
finish?
Budapest.
Where was a race that he
New York, he dropped
okay,
out.
Yeah, maybe there. I was like, I think Cam could do really well because I heard it was a hard course. I mean, I think he could. I think for sure. I don't think it's absolutely outrageous that you're saying that he's going to medal. I just think he's going to have his work cut out for him.
He certainly has his work cut
yeah,
out.
like it is going to be very difficult. Hard course, you're right.
Everyone's
Eliminates
got
a
their
lot of
work cut out for them.
Yeah,
Everyone
flat
does. Yeah.
specialists.
Like, how do
Times
you
mean
s-
nothing leading into this
I
race.
can't wait to do whatever our graphic is of like where the Valencia runners finished.
We will make a graphic
That'd
about
be very
that.
entertaining.
Do you see it being like a race where everyone kind of stays together in a pack, or like is it
Well-
gonna? Are there gonna be breakaway groups? Like what's?
I think the
what-
weather is going to play into that a bit.
Yeah, it depends on
Yeah.
how warm it's going to be. It's at 7, I think, a.m. or 8 a.m.
7, I think.
Lima is not running, correct?
Cisse Lema's not running, but Tamarat Tola is running.
Lema, I think, would have made the race fast early,
Yeah.
but since he's not
was he the
in it-
Boston winner?
Yep.
so
Okay, yeah, that was an
So
insane.
instead, they
race.
replaced him with the New York winner.
Yeah,
So Ethiopia's good.
I mean Tola should have been probably not left off the like who. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable in the marathon. I guess that's what makes Ethiopia unbelievable. is
pretty
that
good at running.
You've got to.
Yeah.
You're leaving. It's like, oh, okay. Like, who do you leave off the team besides him? You're like, oh, okay, I guess leave Bekele off, or it's tough. But I'm excited to see like who decides to make it a hard race. Like what the team like if there are teams working together, you got to assume that Connor Manson, Clayton Young are going to be working together. Like, do you see like a Cam Levins? If you're Cam, you're like, okay, like who are guys to key
Who
off
can I
of?
work
Am I
with?
like, do I see and do I think, okay, like Manson Young are guys that like I think could run smart. Maybe I hang with them for a bit. Like, do I really want to like go out and if this hill, if everyone's gonna be coming back at this hill, do I like not go out with the leaders, let them kind of do all this work and trust that I can come back and get them on the hill? I mean, I'm excited to run this hill.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the hill. That's for sure. It sounds absolutely wild. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be such a hard
let's run the
marathon.
hill and then maybe see where our thoughts
Come back,
lie.
like, yeah, so half the field's not finishing.
Yeah.
That thing is crazy. Nah, it'll be a great race. I mean, Australian perspective, I think Pat Tiernan will do a really good job for us. I think he'll finish the highest that Australians finished at the Olympics in a long time.
I like that.
What a guy.
Love
what
that.
A racer.
What is the
Love
highest
that
an
guy.
Australians finish?
So I think we've had. I actually don't know. We've medaled a long time ago, but I think of most recent history, like maybe it's like a Rob Di Castella or a Moneghetti that would have finished like top 10. We had women finish top 10. I think Sinead was top 10 last time. But Tiernan, like it's sad we've lost Brett Robinson, our national record holder. He's out. Andy Buchanan steps in, but
And Genevieve will run well in the women's
Genevieve
side.
will run well. I think Jess Stenson will run well for the Aussie women. But I'm really ambitious on what Pat can do. A successful day for him would be a top 15 would be huge. But I wouldn't at all be surprised on his best day on a hard course if he's a sneaky like 10th, 9th place finisher in this marathon. You've spent time with him. Like I really feel like he can do. And that's the cool thing about this marathon is that it's not flat and it's not conventional that, the fastest and the best in the world over the last 2 years are going to be at the front. Like these wild card guys now that are just grinders and can grit their teeth and just push and persevere and continue to find momentum when there is no momentum. They'll be the guys and the girls that launch themselves into places that they probably think that they wouldn't have been able to on a flatter course. So I'm pumped to see that. Chris, I'm really coming around to your Cam Levins call. I'm really, now that I talk
Thank
about the grit and grind, he's got to be there.
You're usually pretty right whenever you do these
Yeah.
things. So
Thank you, guys. All right.
Thank you.
That does
Thank
it for our
Let's
distance
go.
preview.
Go.
We
Thank you.
basically just this might have been like a marathon
2
length
hours.
episode.
I think we're
yeah.
about 2
not
hours
two?
in.
Yeah. And it just goes to show just how excited we are for all of the events taking place. I'll try my best to do a field events wrap up with Paulie Throws and have him give us kind of
Love
a
that guy.
lowdown on what to expect in the field events. And action gets started tomorrow with the race walks. On track action gets started on August 2nd.
We're a sniff
CITIUS
there, the
Mag will be
Aussies.
coming to you live
Max
every
shaking
morning,
his
I
head.
believe at 8 a.m. Eastern time is what we're deciding on for Good Morning Track and Field with Mitch and Eric and Karen Lesowitz.
We're back. We're back.
So we'll utilize that show to touch on all of the biggest trending topics and stories and news that is taking
Newsbreakers,
place
yeah.
here.
The biggest
In-
news story.
Yeah, whatever we've
Yeah.
got.
Biggest
Uh,
things
filter us
happening
news.
around us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should break this.
And
I'm like Walter Cronkite.
yeah. Then we, at the
The goat-
conclusion
going
of
straight to
each
goat
day's
style.
action, we will rush back to this beautiful set that we have here and unpack everything on Torch Talk, our daily nightly podcast.
I like that. Good name.
Yeah, great name.
Torch Talk.
Torch Talk. Good
Yeah,
name.
it's back. And if you can't get enough and these 2 hours weren't enough, we've got tons of previews on citiusmag.com. Follow along on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, as we continue to post any breaking news, interviews that we get. We'll try our best to flood this feed with some original interviews as well. Many thanks to ASICS for making this all possible. We're kitted out, and you will see us wearing our super shoes. I love the ASICS Metaspeed Sky Paris edition, and that is what I will be wearing during the Marathon for All, and hopefully they will propel me to a sub 16 mile at mile 18 on that hill.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll run it.
We're gonna run it
We need to get him a second pair of shoes for his hands.
Yeah.
just for that, and someone will give them out
Yeah.
to me. Hand me like a pair of
Like an oil gel.
Metaspeed Edge on those, so I can get the best of both worlds there.
What size do you think you are?
Hand.
Don't even get me started on my hands. All right, that does it.
Wow.
J'adore l'athlétisme.
I love track and field.
There you have it. We'll see you
Wow.
guys next time.